And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Live on Needs, Knives, and Men's Hearts. What's up?
This looks like a StreamYard.
Why? Okay.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna do some knife sharp today. We're also gonna talk about some knives. I have multiple different setups here. He's also got some setups over there. So we're gonna do fixed angled and freehand. What type of system do you have, Simon?
I have the Pioneer or the KO3.
You have the KO3?
Yes.
Which
yes.
one do you like using the most?
Right now the KO3.
The KO3, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Of course,
nice.
of course. The
It's very
KO3 is like one of the nicest sharpeners. Now I have one that is potentially like putting TS Prof for a run for its money. This one is a made in Ukraine one, but
Yes.
I'm telling you guys, they did a really good job on this one. So I'm gonna pull it out and show you guys. We'll do some freehand and some fixed angled. I'm just pulling this out. I got all the rest of the supplies in here. We'll pull out in a second. But this guy, before I put the rods on it or anything, you can check it out. This guy it's very heavy duty, and because it has this huge base like this, it's been really nice. But that's the beautiful thing with the K03 too, because you can put so much pressure on it. You don't have to worry about flexing, moving, sliding, anything like that. And that is it leads to a much better experience when sharpening. But yeah, I'm sure. So was the Pioneer the first one you had?
My first one was a WORKSHARP. Now after that the Pioneer, and right now the KO3. Yes, it's the life with TS Prof is more easy. Everything is more perfect.
Was that your first one though? The Pioneer?
Yes.
You didn't have anything else before that?
No, I had the WORKSHARP Professional Elite.
Big difference, right?
Man.
Yeah. That's why I always tell people when they want to get one, it's like in many cases, everybody will start because they think they can get something affordable. And WORKSHARP does have nice stuff. I'm not saying they don't. I obviously support their stuff all the time.
Steel sharpener is nice.
Yeah, it's very nice. But when you spend a little bit more, you get a lot more. And it does just absolutely, like most people they wind up buying 2 to 3 systems before they wind up getting a TS Prop. And it's because they tried this, but they wanted something better. Tried this, they wanted something better. And they realized in the end, I should have just went with the TS Prop from the start.
Yes.
What is the best budget freehand system? So I'm actually going to talk about that. So I have a couple different setups for you guys. Now, budget, when you say budget, I know you mean the best for the most affordable. I get that. So one company that I do recommend, and if you go down, I'm Neeves Knives. I have Neve Knife Co. down in the description, which is my company where I sell my knife designs. Now that also has Atoma diamond plates in there. Those are my favorite diamond plates and stroppy stuff. But they're not affordable, right? So if you go to the Neeves Knives Sharpening and Supplies below that, and click that link, you can go to the top search bar and just put in DMD Sharpening, DMD Tools, DMD Sharpening. These guys make some really good diamond plates for a budget. I'm going to show you one. So this thing right here, you can get for like $40 right now. And I believe it comes with an angle guide too. There is some that do. So it's a tri-stone. So you have 3 stones here. The one little issue is that the 150 does have these cuts that are a little deep and you can kind of catch them a little bit. I prefer diamond plates that are just flat with just all diamonds, none of these grooves. But there's not that big of a difference. A lot of people use these and they're just fine. So, DMD, great company if you want to save some money. And I have other ones too. Right here. Is this some? No. But anyways, really good stuff. This is by DMT, which is different, but I know it looks the same. But this is a stone clamp. But what's cool about it is you have a handle right here, and you pop it out, and now you can just slide it back and forth so you don't have to do this. And because like when you change from a 6-inch stone to like an 8-inch stone, you sit here and sometimes like after a while, these will start getting corrosion on them so they won't spin as well. This is something that since it's plastic, it's not going to corrode. Yes, the metal can corrode, but keep it oiled. Anyway, so you can just size it to fit. And this pretty much fits everything. But this is a very big setup. And now check this out. You can get this came with, by the way, this, and it's magnetic, so it'll stick to the stone. But what you can do is you can slap it on there. You have a 20, a 22, a 15, and a 26. I recommend going to my Neeves Knife Sharpening Supplies store because I have my favorite ones, which are these. And they give you pretty much every angle, but they're really big, really wide. This groove is, if you want to, you can wrap a rubber band around them. I have one right here. I thought I had one. I might not, but anyways, it just lays on the stone. Now, here's the thing, though. I want to bring this up because someone brought this up in my comments earlier. When you're using these angles, right, it's not going to be 100% accurate. It can't be because it doesn't know the geometry of your knife. However, what it can give you is a baseline. And what that means is it at least gives you a starting point to repeat, which is the most important. Having the exact angle doesn't mean anything, nothing, unless if you can repeat it. So just being able to take this and being able to repeat it over and over is going to be the most important thing. And like, let's say you're like, well, man, this is a little bit higher than I would like because it's not covering my bevel. Okay, go to a lower angle, right? So you can adjust, but at least you have a good starting point to continue going forward on. Guys, go and subscribe to Men's Heart's channel. It's MAN.SHEART. That's how it is on Instagram. And then on YouTube, is it the same on YouTube?
With one at the end.
Your channel name.
Where's the dot?
Where's the dot? Is it MAN dot on YouTube too?
Yes.
It's the exact same. Okay.
Yes. 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 Is the exact.
And his name is Simon. So we are going
Hello,
to get to sharpening here in 1 second. Simon, what do you got? What are you going to sharpen?
Freehand or fixed angle?
No, you can use fixed. I'm just curious what knife you have.
I will sharpen. I have this one from a friend.
Okay. Can you pull it a little closer? Okay. What do you know what brand it is?
SW. I don't really know the brand, but
okay.
It's dull.
Well,
right now it's dull. I can
if you're
sharpen.
gonna do,
I have a bench made. M390.
which one is that? I can't remember. The Barrage or something? Is it the Barrage? Somebody will say it. Which Benchmade is that in the comments? Is that the Barrage? Cicero, what's up, man? Thank you for joining. I appreciate it, man. We just pulled the giveaway, so you're a little late on that, but just, you know, keep your eyes open because we do 2 a month. What? Yeah. I sharpened a knife yesterday, and I can confirm that you must keep same angle. This is why I use fixed angle sharpening. Exactly. Yeah, that's the biggest part for people to realize is this. When you're sharpening, the reason why people do so good on fixed angled is because it holds that angle for them, right? Well, when you're freehanding, I'm gonna go to a finer. When you're freehanding, you need to be able to lock yourself in. So meaning kind of like using one of these systems, right? You're basically locking your body. So when you get the knife in hand and you get it on the stone, right? Whatever angle you wind up picking, doesn't matter. Whatever angle you pick, you know, if you want to just make it simple, just fall in the middle, right? Don't go up too high and don't go too low. Go right in the middle, right? You'll be fine. So once you get to there, lock in, and now you're basically trying to act like a fixed angle system where you're in a hold, lock in, and then when you go across the stone, you need to repeat that over and over and over and over. And people think that it's going to go much faster than it does. Now, it doesn't mean it takes a long time. It's that people will get impatient and then they'll look at it and they'll want to go to the other side. They'll want to move and they'll want to change. Just keep going. Whatever you start with, keep that going and keep repeating it and lock it, lock your wrist, and then use your body to go forward and your elbow to get the belly. So because this has a little bit of belly, so in order to get to the tip, see how there's a gap underneath? I need to lift my elbow. See that? So I'm gonna lock my wrist, go across, like basically like lean forward, and then when I want to get to the tip, lift my elbow. And then I can drop it back down here just so you guys can see my elbow moving really quick across the stone. So I'm going forward, lifting my elbow. It's very little because it has a very low belly. And then when I get up and I come back, see how I'm just teetering? I'm still locked in. I'm still the same angle. So when I go back down, bam, right there. I'm still there. And just keep repeating. Now, what you can also do is use your thumb. Give me 1 second, baby. You can use your thumb to be an indicator. So what I'll do is every time I set the knife back down, I take my thumb and I do a measurement. So I will pick the center of my thumb and I will pick a specific part of the blade.
It's stopped.
Sure.
Hang
Can you
All right, something, I don't know
Yeah.
what happened, guys. Sorry about that.
just get me to the live? I can't. If you keep showing me your last one, I want to link his
Isn't
thing.
that it?
I need to be in studio. Why'd you leave?
I don't know what you're asking me.
In studio, get me there.
Oh,
Just let me get back.
Jason, thank you for the 2 pounds, man. I appreciate it. Pull out your system. Pull out your TS prop or whatever you're going to use, and we'll start setting it up. Yeah, I'm going to move my mic so I'm not screaming in your guys' face.
Or just, you can keep it on. Just talk. Like, if you're gonna talk quiet and move it away, it might be too quiet.
No, it won't be too quiet. That thing picks up really well. But it has noise cancellation, so like if I'm yelling too loud, it won't let
My
me.
mic has noise cancellation. It usually when you're live, it'll pick you up all the way across the house. Okay, can you please
Take
tell
the
me?
knife out.
Just keep doing the numbers and then another one.
Huh.
Does this to me all the time.
Okay, so go to. I didn't. Weird. It doesn't have it. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Why do you need to go in here so you can link stuff? Yeah, you just have to go to the comments. Sorry, I don't know what's up. It's probably not going to allow it till it's done.
Probably, I think that's what the deal is.
10 bones from Jeff Patterson, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. What's up, babe?
I said I think that's what the deal is.
Yeah. I already have a Burr. See how fast that went? Now, the reason why it went so fast for me, and this is only a 1200, by the way. The reason why it went so fast is this is like 8 thousandths behind the edge. It's the laser beam. Don't think yours will ever go that fast. Most edges are way thicker than this. And I've already lowered back my angle from a previous sharpening. So I'm basically resharpening right now, but this is the one example, which is why I don't recommend sharpening on a 1200 because 9.999 times out of 10 a 1200 is going to be way too fine for you to sharpen. Like right now, if I went to use this, I would spend about 4 hours trying to sharpen on a 1200. But if I just switched to 150, it'd take me 15 minutes to reprofile, maybe 20 minutes, just depending. So since this is so thin, I can actually use a 1200. Now, I'm just going to hurry up and quickly finish this really quick, and then I'm going to move to a different one because I want to do a little bit of variety with you guys to show you guys some different stuff. I'm also going to do some tune-ups because I do have my WORKSHARP field sharpener, which is a very, very affordable system for you guys to get. Everybody in here should have one of these. Anybody who does have one, raise your hand and let us know. WORKSHARP field sharpener. You don't. Obviously, these are great. You want these too, but this is an essential tool. I use this more than I use anything else. by
I
far.
get it
Like,
every day
by
when I
far.
go outside for work.
Right. You can take it with you when you go to work or whatever. But the beautiful thing is you have everything built in. You got angles there. So it's 20-degree angles. So it's not as low as maybe you'd like, but it's still a good angle.
But
And
you
so
can
you
go
got an
on
angle
half.
right there, right? To go across. You have a ceramic. You have a strop. Angles are built into all of them. You have a spot for serrations. And when these wear out, you can replace them. So lots of good stuff. And it's got a little stash in there so you can hide your weed in there. So lots of cool stuff. But having the angles are really good because one, if you do sharpen, like say if I sharpen at a 15-degree or 17-degree angle, I can micro bevel on this. And micro beveling takes 10 seconds. So it makes it to where you can keep an edge going for a long time. Man's Heart is only like 4 subs away from 100 on YouTube. Make that happen. Please go and give him some love, guys. I really appreciate it. He was originally, just so you guys know, he was originally trying to give away a TS Prof, and I talked him out of it. I told him to wait just a little bit till he gets a little bit more subscribers so that people don't come in there and just try, because that's what it happened to me many times. People were coming in and winning giveaways that never even watched the channel. And also there was many times people would win and never even collect because they didn't watch the channel. So it's just, people trying to snake in, but whatever, that's what you're gonna get. Cicero with the 5 bounce says, you did with TKE. Yeah, the Jack Wolf Pioneer Fly Tan Beef. Besides, I ain't here for free anything. So, no, man. Hey, I think that if you watch the channel, you should enter all the giveaways you possibly can across the knife world. If you're a knife guy, you should. That's kind of the point. Anybody who's doing any type of content for EDC wants somebody from the EDC. What they don't want is somebody that doesn't watch the channel, doesn't know who they are, doesn't even know what the thing is, and they just enter it. Like, can you imagine somebody who's never even thought about sharpening, winning a KO3, nearly $1,000 system, and it just sits in a corner and just collects dust, or they sell it to a fucking pawn shop for $40? Think about it. All right, so let me just read these comments. What angle for spider corners? I like to go 15 for spider coats, so it does depend on which one. It's between 15 and 17. So the way I look at it is, if you're not worried about toughness, and I mean, like, you're just not worried about toughness at all. Toughness is not a factor. You're not going to be hitting anything, no impacts or anything like that. Then 15 degrees is great. If you potentially want to be a little bit tougher on, but you still want high levels of sharpness, go to 17. The lower you go, the sharper it's going to get, but the less strength you're going to have on the apex. Creeping up on the 2nd year. Rick has been a Rockstead member for 22 months. To all Rockstead members who's been a member for 12 months, which had already entered by that time like 20 to 24 giveaways, automatically win a premium knife after 12 months. Sorry, guys. So that's actually really, really cool. On average, how many sharpenings can you get out of a hybrid resin bonded stone before you would need to flatten them? So this is the way I do it for hybrids. I can spend about a year, sometimes even longer, before I ever flatten them, as long as I'm using a conditioning stone. So you just take this and you take your hybrids, and after 5, 6, 7 sharpenings, just rub it down, give it a good rub, and what'll happen is it'll bring out the diamonds and it'll flatten it at the same time. Then you don't have to flatten it very often, if ever. There were stones, man, I didn't flatten for years and I use them all the time, but then there were some that I did. Some, by the way, some grits do break in a little different than others. Some are more porous. So you might find some where it's like, man, this thing, even after conditioning it, it just is not bringing out the life. Throw it on silicon carbide powder, on a piece of glass, flatten it up, and then it'll be back to brand new. And then conditioning will work a lot easier. But you can get very little flattening doing from a real flattening perspective. You're technically flattening when you're conditioning. Round stones are great for recurves. Yes, that's why this WORKSHARP is really good, because you have the round stone here. thin stones is good too, which I do have, and I have done videos
I do
on
not yet.
slim stones.
I will get.
You don't have none yet?
Yes. Yes, but
Yeah, get the ones from USA Market when they get in stock. They got some really good skinny stones. And they're I'm gonna have some, by the way, on Neve Knife Co. soon. Maybe not the skinny ones, but I'm trying to get you guys a more affordable option for bonded stones. So I'm gonna order some 1mm ones. Now, yes, they're not gonna last as long as a 3mm one,
yes,
but it's gonna be like half the price. So
still gonna
But
last a
so-
long time.
yeah. Oh, very long time. Yeah, 1mm lasts a very, very long time, but it's not gonna last as long as
I
3mm.
only
So-
use, if you know the TS Prof normal stones, these ones.
Yeah, I don't like them.
I used one set. I get to
Yeah.
the aluminium blanket.
Yeah, I'm not, man. I prefer every other stone over those. You know, they do have some good stones though from their Alpha series.
Yes, they are really good.
What do I think of the Cold Steel Engage and S35? I actually have it right over there. It's good. I have the small one and the big one. The small one's a little small for me. It's much smaller and slimmer than you're gonna think. The full size one is a little bit more my style. The only thing I have against it, well, two things. One, it's kind of floppy. You know, I like a good detent, but aside from that, like just knife experience, not action, it gives me a little bit of a feeling like I'm separated from the edge, kind of. Yeah, you can choke up, but it just has that little bit of feeling. Now I know that's done on purpose, so you can stab it into things because it wants to stop you from slipping up the blade, and I get that, but it is something you got to get used to. All right, so this one you guys seen, I started sharpening it on this. I guess I should finish it, but then I'm going to use the WORKSHARP here in a second. I'm going to tune something up. If you want to set up your fixed angle sharpener, I can set mine up here in a second. I'm just going to finish this while you're doing that.
Okay.
Because I'll be done with this in just a second. So again, I am pinching, locking, and then the angle I choose, whatever angle it is, like I said, it's very easy to find your angle. Just don't go crazy about it. Right? It's not as important as you being comfortable in maintaining it. I promise you that is not as I know it seems like it is, but it doesn't matter what angle you have. If you're not going to be able to repeat it over and over and over and over, then who gives a fuck what angle? Like, so what, right? So pick one where you can easily, you can feel like this feels comfortable for me, right? So get that, then pinch the knife, get it a nice comfortable grip. Lock your wrist when you find your angle, whatever angle that happens to be. Sorry, my mat is like moving around. Whatever angle that happens to be. And then when you can lean, you can like pull your body in and then lock up. Like I said, lock your elbow and everything, and then pull backwards. Just let your back go back. So I'm just letting my hips go backwards. Go backwards. And then when I want to get to the belly right here, I'm going to lift my elbow to the tip. That's it. Now, when I want to come back, I'm literally still locked in. So now I just raise my arms, lean forward, sit because my wrist is still locked. I have not moved this angle yet, right? So as long as that angle's locked, it doesn't matter where I go. It's still the same thing. You just got to make sure you're not allowing it to move. See how I put it right back down? Same thing. Wham. Just lock that wrist in place so that you can repeat it. And if it helps you, just keep it locked in for 20 passes. So that's all you got to make it through. 10 to 20 passes. And after 10 to 20 passes, pick it up, relax, check it. And then every time you set it back down and you lock in, do 20 passes. Because like, let's say your angle changed by like a half a degree. You want to make sure that the new angle you just did gets on the entire bevel, and it'll be such a little amount that 20 passes will get it. Yes, baby.
Can you please tell me how you can get a sticky edge with like 600 degrees, 17? Like, how do you get a sticky edge?
Oh, how do you get a sticky edge? Just sticky edge. Okay, so the way you get a sticky edge, it's actually a few different things. One obviously is angle. The lower the angle, the sharper it is. But none of those things matter if you don't knock your burr off properly. So one thing that you can do moving through the stones is not ripping your burr off like between stones. So like say if I was going to move now to, let's say this, right? Let's say I was going to move to this stone right here. That was 1200. This is another 1200. Maybe go soap and water. But when I get on this thing, right? So my burr is on this side. So what I will do is I'm going to, instead of just going into sharpening again, right? Because I have my burr now, right? I finished this side. I finished this side. Now I'm moving to another stone. I'm going to take and flip my burr over by just doing a gentle, no pressure. The angle's not that big of a deal. Just hold a little bit of a higher angle than you were sharpening and just let the apex hit the stone. You're going to feel the burr hit the stone and flip it over to the other side. You're basically just fatiguing it. And you're basically just folding it back over to the other side, getting it out of the way. If it does pop off, that's okay, but at least you're not tearing it off. For an example, when you're sharpening, right? When I'm sharpening like this, right? So my scratches are running like this.
Yes.
Think about a serrated blade, right? It's a serrated edge going like this. Well, if I take those serrations, they have points going this way, right? Remember the tips of the serrations are going this way, and I hit it this direction, I'm gonna ram right into the tips of those serrations. If I come from this direction, I'm going from the back side of them. So I'm just going to fold them down. Hopefully that makes sense. You're basically knocking it over like domino rally. I'm trying to think of something I could show you guys. Maybe a saw blade. Let me read some comments, and then I'm going to just tune this up on this really quick, and then I'm going to move to something else. I originally had a polished edge on here, but what I did was a company sent some cut-proof gloves. And you guys remember I did that video a while back where I did the cut-proof sleeves, the cut-proof gloves, and I put one of my edges on it and hit it, and my edge wound up going through it. It did do really well. I'll be honest, it did do really well, but my edge did go through it. These were supposed to be really, really good cut-proof work gloves. Obviously not stab-proof, which I found out obviously is not stab-proof, but cut proof, it actually did. Yes, my edge did get through it slightly, but I promise you that the force and the amount of sharpness it had, it would have went straight to the bone. And because of the gloves, it would have barely nicked you. So they were really good, but what they did do is destroy my edge. So while my edge didn't have chips or anything, it knocked all my microscopic serrations off. So because it's like metal fibers inside the gloves. So Ronson, hope everyone in this chat is having a great night. Yes, absolutely. What do you think of Cold Steel's? I already said that one. If you guys have any questions, let them shoot. We're going to pull out different sharpening systems. I'm going to pull out the field sharpener here in 1 second. We're going to use that again. I'm just finishing this one up because I want to get a different knife out here. So I think it's good for you guys to see different knives. I have one that's very straightforward, very affordable for you guys, and I think I'm going to use that one because I think this is a knife I really, really like. Oh, by the way, I just got some original goat scales on my Vision. This isn't the Vision, but on my Civivi Vision. I haven't installed them yet, but I got them. This is the same original goat scales I got. The gunner grips. This is the Microtech MSI, so this one's USA made. Original goat scales are awesome. Okay, so we're pretty much good over here. I'm going to grab this strop. Half a micron stroppy stuff, in my opinion, some of the best stropping compound. Why add dish soap to water? Because of the oils.
Secret recipe.
Because it's our secret recipe.
Yeah.
So the oils inside the soap lift the metal particles off of the stone. That's why. So when you use, so like there's oil stones and then there's water stones. Oil stones they're very porous and the metal drops down into those pores and clogs them, and it makes it to where you're sharpening your knife on top of metal, not on the stone. Well, for a bonded stone, it's not as porous, so it's more of a flat surface. So if you just use water, the metal's just going to sink right down. So the oils will help lift it off and let it, you know, so basically you can rinse it off, and it just keeps it off. So you're never running into the metal fibers. They're kind of always floating until you wipe it off. Now, obviously, they're still going to get on the stone too, but it makes it way easier to clean your stones, to use them. If I just start using them dry, which I can do if I really wanted to, like if I'm just doing a quick tune-up or something, it's fine. But if you're gonna spend some time on here, you're gonna want to use some water. So we got this one done. Let's just test the edge really quick. I just did a quick tune-up. All in all, if I wasn't talking, it would have taken me 3 minutes. Listen to that. You see that? Swirl. Oop, that's my fault. That swirl. This thing is super sharp.
That's a 17, 15 degree.
17 on this one, but it's so thin behind the edge. Okay, so this is a knife right here that I was going to show you guys. That it's going to be very affordable. No, I'm just joking. This one's very expensive, but this is a really cool knife. But the affordable knife I do have is this one. This is the Civivi Elementum button lock. This is the longer one. They have multiple different versions of this. They even have worn clips. Bluetooth with the 10 bones. What's up, brother? For some more, my boy needs not. Thank you, man. Thank you for the bones. I appreciate it. What about diamond steels? Dry or something else? What do you mean? Oh no, you don't know. You just run those dry. Never use water or anything on diamond plates, diamond rods. If it's just steel, even metal, like, because they have a metal bonded diamond, which is literally a melted metal with diamonds infused into it, just like how this is, except for this is a resin. Those you don't even have to use water on. So any metal bonds, you don't have to use anything on, and it's actually better for you not to, because it is way easier to not use lubrication. The cool thing with splash and goes is you don't have the problems you have with wet stones, water stones, oil stones, where you have to keep applying it, it gets all over, there's a fucking mess, and it's soaked, and you're literally getting wet, your hands are wet. This, it's just one splash, and you're pretty much good until you're done with that side, and you flip it over and splash the other side. It's a real splash and go. And in that case, it's not bothersome, but it is bothersome if you have to sit there and soak in them. So this is a new stone. DMD, I haven't used it yet. We're going to try it out, but if you look, it's a 10-inch stone. So this is a Veneve 8-inch stone. You can see the difference in the size. Very big, but these are fairly affordable. I do have the DMT stone holder, DMD and DMT. I know it sounds the same, but I'm naming two different companies right now. DMD. Like I said, in the description, you can go to Neeves Knife Sharpening Supplies. You'll find it. But we also have this tri-stone here. This is like, you can get this with a little angle guide for like 40 bucks, 50 bucks, and it's 3 diamond plates. So this is a cool system because you can do the base and the plates for 50 bucks. You really can't beat it, to be honest. You can't beat that. But you know, if you want to have a real setup, you need a stone holder. I don't care what kind of stone holder, but you need one. So get a stone holder and then get some stones, because now once you have this, which they're like 20 bucks, depending on the brand, then if you really need to, if you're just learning, get these. So you need to get this, some sort of stone, which I recommend diamond plates, then one of these. A pack of these. And all you're going to do is lay that on the stone. Now, you can, this groove right here, so you can wrap a rubber band around it if you want to. I don't need to do that. But what this will do is it'll give you an angle so that you have a starting point every time. So you should, we're still going to talk about you guys locking in because you still want to lock in. So you just let it hit, slide, get to the stone, and then you have to hold it. So once you hit the stone, now you want to lock in and do the same thing I said before without the angle. So hit the stone and then push across and then just lift your elbow as you're going through the belly and tip. This is a spear point blade, very easy to sharpen, very thin behind the edge, 14C28N, phenomenal steel to sharpen with because it's very easy to sharpen. It's an affordable steel, but it's a really good steel. It's super tough and it takes some of the sharpest edges on the planet. So great steel to get, and Civivi does it really well. I did an edge retention test on it. One did 250, actually this specific one did 250 feet of cardboard. Another one did 315 or so, 315 feet, which is really good for 14C. Okay, the sticky sharp edge. I never kept going on that. Sorry. I'm gonna explain that and then which one? I seen Rickard's been a member for 22 months. No, I didn't see it. I think I did. Yeah, I probably did. Yeah. Yeah, but why is it's different here than over here? Let me just make sure. I think I did. Yeah, Bluetooth. Yeah, Bluetooth. Thank you for the 10 bones. So really sticky sharp edges are going to have to do with your steel, HRC, heat treatment, and burr removal. Burr removal, edge angle. Edge angle is, how low it goes is going to be how sharp it is. But the most important is going to be your serrations, because what you need is your micro serrations to all go
in the same direction.
The same direction. Exactly. And he's learned a lot of stuff, so he's a great one to go listen to on his channel. And he obviously speaks another language that could potentially help a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm trying to do in my language country, so more of my people know these things. The everyday carry is very useful.
And it's fun, man. It's a fun hobby. It has some of the best people in it. Some of the most giving, caring people and helpful. But also, it makes you prepared because the people in the knife, not even just knife, EDC community, are people that like to be prepared. They have the right tools for the job. They're the ones that are going to, if you fuck up, they're the ones that will probably come and save your life. So they try to be prepared with the right tools. So this is your edge bevel. See these little scratches, how I did that? So each one of those is what this diamond is doing, or whatever stone you have. The diamonds are cutting the bevel in and leaving a scratch pattern behind. These scratches are microscopic serrations, just like this. And what it does is you want it to be very consistent, just like that. See how that's like little teeth? It's just like that, literally little serrations. And those are little teeth. You need them to all run the same direction. So you typically at an angle, because you sharpen this way and you cut this way, typically, not always. So you want them to run this way, right? Which is going to be that direction going across the stone.
And you see,
when you can get the consistent scratch pattern and do a good burr removal, that's where you get a sticky edge from. These are what make a sticky edge. The teeth, the sharpness doesn't. You can have the sharpest, lowest edge on the world and it be slick as snot. That's not what's doing. It's the bite from the microscopic little serrations right there that you see. Sorry, go ahead, Simon.
Yeah, I just wanted to compliment what you are saying, but you say everything very good.
No, go ahead. Jump in anytime, bud. Anytime. I know I'll start rambling and get off on a tangent just because I do this, so much. So it's just, second nature.
Yeah. You cannot get the
more
sticky,
people. Come on, guys, go subscribe to the channel, guys.
sharpness if you don't see the scratch pattern on the bevel the same. In the same direction.
Yes, you want it to be uniform and consistent. The same direction, same angle. And then also, if you're struggling, get a jeweler's loop or something that you can magnify it with.
Yes.
I used to use a jeweler's loop. I now have a digital magnifying glass that I use. I don't need to use it. I can just see it with my naked eye. but it's nice to have that because like when you have like microchips or things are happening, you can use that to really identify
Understand,
problems.
yes.
Okay. Kiss the knife. Okay. Let's grab. I have so many different stones we could use. I should bust out a fixed angle system here in a second. This is a very affordable knife.
Should
This
I
thing's
start
like 30.
sharpening this?
Yeah, go ahead. Are you clamped in?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, if you're ready, you can go ahead. If you want to pull forward and tell them what you're doing, I can grab mine too, and I'll lock in.
Okay. So
I don't
right
know if I
now,
should continue doing fixed angled or do the free or do fixed angled with you or do freehand because you know we have different audience members here. Some probably have fixed angled, some probably want to do freehand. Really quick, this knife right here is a tack ray, and it is only 30 bucks, and it is amazing. Very, very thin, slicey geometry, has a nice strong lock. The blade isn't strong because it's super slicey, but I'm telling you guys, this is one of the best bang for your buck knives. But one of my favorite budget knives of all time is the Civivi Elementum. It is like double the price, but badass. But this one's really easy to sharpen, and this is actually what I recommend to learn sharpening on is Civivi knives, Civivi or Sencut, because they have thin geometry and good heat treatments. The two most important things when learning sharpening. If you've ever tried to sharpen, and this is probably the majority of you, when you learn to sharpen, you probably started trying to sharpen and you couldn't get nowhere. And you were probably like, what the fuck is going on? It's nothing like the guy that I was watching on channel. It's probably because you had like literally a horrible heat treated steel, like where it's just like it's like mushy and it's not going to sharpen well. Gas station knives, for an example. Everybody always asks me, what's the most difficult steel you've ever sharpened? Rex 121, Rex 76, M398? No name gas station knife steels. That's what it is. It's always those. Those are fucking horrendous to sharpen. I don't know why it's not moving over there. Jared, your audio is clipping on my end. I flipped my mic. Let me just pull this off really quick. No, I moved it. That's why. They couldn't see me moving it.
yeah, but I hear you very good.
I really like True. It's like $23, and it's a work knife that I'm gonna get True no matter what. It's great. I don't know what I'm trying to think what True is. Gas station knives. Gotta love them gas station knives. Antimatter. The best way would be with a very coarse stone, like an Atoma 140. Yes, that will hog material away quicker. Yes. And the cool thing with the Atomas, so yes, they are more expensive. So I'm going to show you a more budget version, but the Atomas are going to be the fastest cutting, most aggressive reprofiling stones, and they last the longest. And then when you're done, like when they do wear the diamonds out, you can buy replacement sheets so you don't have to buy the whole new plate again. I sell them on Neve Knife Co, and I recommend for you to save money, don't buy all the plates. Buy 2 plates and then 2 replacement sheets, this thin layer of the other 2 grits, and then just pull the sticker off and slap it on the back side because these will come single-sided. This is how I did mine double because I bought one of these and slapped it on there. That'll save you some money. But if you really need to save some money because you can't afford Atomas because these are Japanese made and they're quite expensive, DMD are pretty good. These are going to be more affordable. Like I said, you can go down to Neeves Knives and Sharpening Supplies, and you can find some. Just type it in the search bar. But there's also Ultra Sharps. I always link Ultra Sharps in that same store. Ultra Sharps were some of my favorite ones. They're like this. This is a DNT, but it's the same thing, but they're just a regular plate. And they are pretty affordable. Like you can get the 2x6 stones, 3 of them for like 60 bucks, or $140, $130, $140 for the 3x8s. The 3x8s are better, but you know, you got to use what you can and what you can afford. But I always recommend getting a WorkSharp, man. When you get the WorkSharp, they have different versions of this. They have like a bigger version. I got it sitting over there right now. It's a bench stone and it has the angle guides built in and everything. That's a great one to have. And it's like $50. You're getting 2 diamond plates, a ceramic plate. And I think that's it.
Yes,
I don't,
that's
it
it.
doesn't have, I don't,
No,
yeah, right?
only
It,
three.
it doesn't have a leather, does it?
No,
The
no,
bench
no,
stone?
no, no.
So there you go. So two diamond plates that are, I think they're replaceable, and a ceramic plate for like $50. And the angle guides are built in. Yeah, it's going to buy the bench stone. Yeah, the bench stone. Yeah, right here. And this little thing right there makes it where it tilts, so you don't have to lift your elbow if you don't want to. Could use that. Okay, so we have this guy right here. Let's resharpen this guy. While he's sharpening that on the fixed angled, I'm gonna grab my fixed angle here in 1 second. But I have a the Elementum button lock. We're gonna sharpen up on the 150. Well, baby. Yeah, if you go to his channel, all his videos are shorts right now. He's starting to create long form videos.
I have my first video, long video.
Also, go to his Instagram. Give him some love there.
Thank you.
He only needs one more person to get to 100, guys. Give him some love.
One more?
Just one more. Antimatter. I've heard good things about the CBN stones as well. Basically, a more yeah. So CBN, I've tested the difference. Ooh, this is a brand new plate. You can hear it. Listen to this. That's aggressive. So, what was I gonna say? The CBNs. So these are CBN. I have CBN diamond plates. I have all kinds of CBNs. The difference between CBNs and diamonds is unnoticeable as far as visual, feeling, things like that. It's basically the same. However, they last longer and they cut a little faster. So on a microscopic level, they're more jagged. Technically, they're not as hard as a diamond. Technically, they're right under a diamond, but they're damn near as hard. So they're hard enough to cut any steel. But technically, diamonds are harder. So you'd think, well, shouldn't that make them last longer? No, I think what it is against abrasions, CBNs last longer. So, and I've tested this. I put an Atoma 1x6 versus a CBN Start. Start did way better. It lasted longer. It cut faster. But the Atomas are still like the best you're going to get next to that. So we have a 160 here. I'm just going to use it. Screw it. I should use the diamond plates because of you guys, though. One thing is, man, these ridges, I'm personally not a fan of these little ridges. I prefer getting flat plates, which, you know, like that's why I recommend ultra sharps and stuff like that. This one's a flat plate. This is, you can just think of this as a diamond plate. It's going to give you the exact same results as something like this. The exact. The only difference is this is diamonds mixed throughout that entire thing. This is just on the surface. But the feeling is basically the same. If this was a resin bond, the feeling's a little different. But this is a metal bond, so it's very similar. Maybe slightly different, but yeah, I do like the CBNs a lot. And for the best 1x6 diamond plates for fixed angle sharpening, like he's doing, Hapstone starts. Hapstone starts the 80, the 100, all the way up to whatever they go to. You don't have to get them all.
Kind of affordable.
Yeah, they are more affordable. I think like $30, right? 30, $40, something like that.
Here in Europe, a little bit more.
Oh yeah, it's way different. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
What does it cost you over there?
Like 70 euros.
Okay, I wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah, but still, they are more affordable than the Alpha from TS Prof.
Yes, for American currency, it's about $33 or something, but the Tomas are like double the price for the same size. So
yes, I cannot find.
What steel is he sharpening? What steel are you sharpening? And what
M390.
stones are you using?
M390. M390.
M390. What knife was it?
Benchmade I don't know exactly the name. I did forget it.
I think it's the Barrage. I'm not positive though.
Do I take it out to look?
Show it to the. What'd you say?
I think it starts with S.
It might be. So he's got a Benchmade in M390 steel. And what stones are you using?
Alpha stones from TS Prof.
Oh, you got the alphas? You do
Yes.
got the alphas?
Yes, yes.
Oh, you son of a bitch. You got the alphas. Now, which ones do you have? The 1x6s?
Yes. I think.
He's not playing around, guys. That's a $500 stone set, just so you guys know. These right here, this is the alphas, the resin bonded diamonds. They are incredible diamond plates. Very, very good quality, like the highest quality that you can get. Like there's a few companies up there. USA Market has some, the TS Prof stones, Venives.
Yeah,
What
so this
grit
is
are you
the-
starting at?
It's very dull. I did start with 120. Sorry.
The 120?
Yes,
Did
120.
mine start with a 120? I can't remember. Mine starts with a 100.
No, mine. Mine's the last is 11,000.
Yeah, that's the yeah. I think mine's 9,000.
I
So
have
how many stones do you have in yours?
4,
I got
5, 6.
7.
I have 6.
Okay, I got 7.
You got a better better.
Okay, or the
Yeah, I don't want it.
okay, is what
SPK, SBK. I don't know. Diamond. Can I get? Wait, can I get a get when I'm 24 months? Rockstar. Get a what? Tell me what you're asking me. What you want? So I'm using right now from PD Tools. This is from USA Market. This is a metal bonded diamond stone. So for the low grits, like coarse up to medium, I personally think the best are like the USA Market silvers, which I do have in 1x6. These are kind of similar to that. They are a metal bond, but once you get to medium grit, I'm not 100% on this, but I think the vitrifieds might be the best. And then once you get up to a fine, I think the resin bond or hybrids are the best. Now, I do want to make a batch, so I'm potentially going to do this. I am going to get some bonded stones for the Neve Knife Co. site, but my plan is to possibly get a few from each company, or not from each company, from each version, and make my own sets of like the perfect set, meaning like the best stones from each company and make a set. So, you know, like say the silvers for the coarse, vitrified for the medium grit, hybrids for the ultra fine grits. That'd be badass, right? Or resin bond, one of the two. So I am using this. It doesn't need any lubrication because it's a metal bond. Again, locking in. I'm going to use my thumb on the spine to kind of, so I can feel it, because what you don't want to do is this. None of this shit. You don't want to do this. So you want to get it on there,
Yeah.
lock in completely like this. Find your angle. Like I was saying before, don't go too crazy about your angle. Just don't go up too high. Don't go too low. Get right in the middle somewhere, like right there. You can try to match the bevel.
I got a question.
Okay, one second. As soon as you see the apex touch the stone, like not like this, right? Because obviously that's the apex. What I mean is from the laying it down. When you're laying it down like this and you lift up, lift up, lift up, lift up. Once the apex touches, that's your angle. And don't think too much about it, because I used to go crazy over whether or not I was hitting it, and it didn't matter. It's just whatever you choose, stay with it. Keep with it. Keep going with it. Do not change course. If it starts feeling like it's taking a little longer, so what? That's just what happens. Deal with it. Just continue to go until your scratches cover the entire bevel and reach the apex. And then you get a burr, which we'll talk about in a second. But once you get that angle, whatever that is, lock wrist, and then you're going to use your body. So practice maybe using your thumb. Find one place on the blade. I usually like to mark it with a marker, and then use the middle of your thumb. That's a good angle right there, just like that. So then I can set that right here just like that. And now every time I want to set it back down, I just match the middle of my finger again, right to that same exact spot. And I know that's the angle. That's another way you can just pick an angle. The middle of my thumb works on 90% of knives. But what I was gonna say is that lock yourself, and then now I'm going to use my body to lean in and out, right? See that? Because I can basically keep my angle like this, right? Because I'm not moving this shit, right? Okay, so I'm not moving my wrist. See that? Because that's what's gonna mess my angle up. Is this? That's the only thing that can. Even moving my elbow won't mess my angle up. My angle's still the same, right there, for the edge angle, right? What it will change is the shape of the blade. So when you want to get the shape of the blade, you just lift your elbow. So like say if I'm sharpening this part and I'm going across the stone, I want to get to the tip, lift my elbow until it gets to the tip. So what's going to look like is right here, when I'm coming across the stone, I'm going to lift my elbow and hit the tip. As soon as you see the tip hit, it's hit. Don't think you need to raise up really high, because you don't. So again, I'm going to use my body to make sure I'm going in and out like this, right? I can go in and out. And then as I go across the stone, when I start getting to the belly, I just lift my elbow. Then I can lift up, drop my elbow back down, and go right back to the same spot. And I can keep repeating this because I'm not moving this. Lock that fucker in, and then just use your body and your elbow. You can use a little bit of shoulder, a little bit of elbow, a little bit of hip action. You can also, if depending on the blade shape you have, like say this, I would kind of just do like a leaning in and out motion like this. You can almost go like this too, just literally this direction. This is what Outdoors 55 likes to do, because you're locked in. You just keep that same angle, keep it going until it grinds an edge bevel in there, and the striations are the way you want. Now, what's the question, baby? Jared.
Your health is in custody, though. Are you still working?
Yes, yes, I do. I like,
Can
so
I-
my favorites so far from them are their resin bonds and their hybrids. They're really good stones. Oh, they can probably hear you, baby. So she read the comment asking about the stones, on whether or not I still like the resin bonded stones. Yes, I do. If yours are held up in customs, I can reach out to USA Market and see what they say. To my knowledge, man, like, so, like, just so you guys understand, in Europe, right? What? Customs is custom. Yeah, it's just gonna happen. But in Europe, they have a massive amount of the stones, right? So if you're in Europe, use my link down in the description, right under USA Market. You'll see USA Market, then you'll see Europe Knives and Sharpening. What? They're not in Ukraine, they're in the USA. But it's a Ukrainian guy. So what I'm trying to say is that there's USA Market, which is in the USA. Whatever they have in stock in the USA, you know, obviously you'll get quick. But they order them from Ukraine. Then there's right underneath that link is Europe, right? It's the same company, same stone, same everything, same team, but they're in Europe. They have a massive amount of stones there. They're ready to ship. Like, so if whatever you guys want, they can ship, even large orders. They're shipping right now to the US to get the stones into the USA Market for you guys, along with possibly some, hopefully for me soon, for Neve Knife Co. But I'm gonna potentially, I'm deciding right now, I'm probably gonna get the 1 millimeter thick, so not the expensive ones, just so I can get you guys more affordable ones, because 3 millimeters thick, yes, it lasts the longest. It's going to be like basically a forever stone, but they are super expensive. Each stone is going to be like 80 bucks for a 1x6. So not for a big stone, for one of these, right? So, and you're going to need 6 of them. So add that up. Pretty fucking expensive, right? If I can get them down to $40 a piece, right? That damn near, it cuts it in half.
Yes.
So while it won't last as long, it'll still last you a very long time.
Can I say something very quick?
Yeah, please, please.
With the fixed angle system, you have to don't go so much on the side of the knife, to not create the bevel, the burr, so much. It's very easy with this, because you just go like that. You feel it's more
Yes, a
Easy.
lot more smooth.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
when you use a fixed angle system, it's 100 times easier. And it's a lot easier for you to see your scratches.
yes,
Like, you know,
yes,
like what he was saying, like you're just doing a motion, you can watch the scratches get applied. When you're like this, it's not as easy to see that because it's underneath the edge.
exactly.
With him, he's on top of the edge.
Exactly.
So he can see everything happening while it's happening.
And what I'm trying to say is don't create the burr so big. That's
Yeah.
something that I realized a time ago, and it's very important to get the knife very sharp. To make
Yeah,
the
small
burr-
burrs. So small burrs definitely can be better. However, when you're in the beginning stages, you're gonna make big burrs. Nobody's gonna get around that. Everybody's gonna make big burrs,
Yeah.
and big burrs aren't necessarily bad. But if you have a soft steel, it can be a little difficult to remove.
Yes, yes.
Somebody's asking about a 140 grit and a 600 grit diamond stone be practical for beginning hand sharpening. Yes, I would
Need
get
something
so.
middle.
Yes, that would be perfectly fine. You could go 140 and 400 and then 600, or just do 140 and then 600. You could also do 400 and 1200 if you wanted to, but it's nice to have them like, so just so you understand, you can jump if you want to. You can jump from, say, a 300 to 1,000 grit if you want to. The problem is you're putting a lot more wear on that 1,000 grit, and it'll take you much longer. You're going to spend even more time on the 1,000 than you would have on a 600. So if you went from 300, say if you just spent 15 minutes on the 300 and spent, well, let's say 20 minutes, like 20 minutes on the 300, and then you would have jumped to 1,000 grit and spent like 20 minutes, right? Rather than if you would have went and did the 600, you'd have spent 5 minutes, and then 1,200, 5 minutes. So, because, and so now you have less wear on the stone. It makes your stones last longer, and it also makes the time go by faster because you're removing the same amount of steel always. Regardless of what stone I start with, I'm removing the same amount of steel. The difference is going to be the time. If I start with a 600 grit, it's going to take a lot longer, and I'm going to beat on the stone. If I start with a 140 or a 300, then it's going to go super fast because it's going to be a lot more aggressive to cut the stone. So yes, I think a 140 and a 600 will be just fine for a beginner set. Just make sure you get a ceramic rod too. Now, like I was saying before, a great beginner set is this. Just this. It's 35 bucks, man. A WorkSharp field sharpener is a great little beginner set. Of course, it's nice to get a full bench stone and everything like this. This is going to be even better with angle guides. But this is very affordable, and everybody should have one of these. You can carry these anywhere, into your car, work, vehicle, whatever. But ceramic rod, get a ceramic rod and a strop. You need those two things. Regardless of what you do, everybody needs a ceramic rod. It's good to have a diamond rod and a ceramic, because what you're going to do is in between sharpenings, right? Let's say I've sharpened my knife and it's super sharp, and I go out and I'm breaking down my recycling, my cardboard, loading it up, maybe stab a squirrel or two. Well, when I come back in, I'm going to want to strop my edge, and my edge is going to come right back. It's going to go from like, man, it's sharp, but it's not as sharp as it was, back to, oh shit, this thing is almost sharper than it was from the start. Well, you're gonna be able to do that over and over with the strap. Then it's gonna get to a point to where the strap's not working as good as it was. Then you're gonna grab this and you're just gonna do 2 to 3 light, very, very light passes, no pressure, very gentle, and then strap, and it's gonna bring that edge right back. Now you might get some microchips. That will be a good time to bring in the little diamond rod and do 2 passes on a 1,200 grit diamond rod. So it's not so aggressive that it's just grinding away, but you're just being very gentle in your micro beveling, and it'll cut fast. In kitchen knives, you can basically sharpen all your kitchen knives with 1 diamond rod, 1,200, and one of these, because chef knives are thin and they're simple steel, so they cut very fast. It's a great way to ensure your chef knives or kitchen knives are sharp. Yes. Okay.
In a one word answer, subject.
They can hear you. I got the mic facing you. Yeah, Dremel would not be the way to go. Well, Dremel's it's a Dremel, so it's not. Yeah, you'd grind into it more than anything. you want, if you're gonna do a kukri and it's really thick, the best thing you could use is a belt grinder. So WorkSharp Ken Onion, I'd get the version 2 if you can. That'd be the best thing for you. There is what? Well, I was just gonna say there's also some budget stuff you could get. You can go on Amazon and find a cheap $60 belt grinder that you can use. Just make sure, because a kukri has the recurve, so make sure you're getting 1-inch wide belts. That's all I was gonna say. Even a 1/2-inch wide belt's gonna be good, but if you get a certain one, you can mess with the belts. But make sure whatever system you get, you can buy replacement belts for, because that's where they'll fuck you. Sorry, go ahead, baby.
And then, we had a question from Adam. Well, hold on. I'm gonna ask you 2 things in a row, and then you can answer them in a row.
Okay.
So let me get through. We have Adam asking your opinion on the Sharpening glass stones.
Yep. Yep.
And then somebody said, Professor F. Carson said, just came across this first time here. Could you show us the correct way to hand sharpen with an angle, without an angle gun?
Yes, I actually just did that a minute ago, but I'll do it again. But for shafting glass, I think shafting glasses are good. It's basically like a ceramic stone. What? So I do have some somewhere. I think they're in that box over there. They're good. They're really good. I prefer diamonds over everything, but Shafton is good. They're going to lead to incredible results. There's a budget brand out there that's mimicking Shafton glass that's also damn near just the same, as like half the price. And I've tested them. They're really good. But diamonds, man, there's going to be certain steels, right, that require diamonds. Ceramic will work for most things, but there's going to be some really high carbide steels that just require diamond. So I look at it as diamond cuts anything, and it cuts very fast, it cuts effectively, and I like, because it's such a hard material versus a hard steel, because some of these steels are extra hard. Like I got steels 70 HRC, but even the ones that are 60-61, that's still very hard. So you want a stone that's really cutting, not just grinding, right? The difference, like I was saying the other day or earlier, or whenever I did the video, sharpening a crayon, right? When you go to sharpen a crayon, it's kind of mushy, right? It's not going to be it's going to be easy to do, but your results are going to be shit. Well, it's kind of same thing like when you're using a soft steel or the wrong abrasive, but when you're sharpening a stick, right? It's much easier, right? Because the stick's harder, right? So just a quick analogy. And then as far as, what was the other one?
You guys want angles?
Oh, angles. So no angle guides. So I have no angle guides right here. Like I said, lock your wrist and then use your elbow for the blade. For the let me get a different. So this is a big one. So this, actually, no, I don't want this. Dun, da, da, da. Yeah, this is my old prototype. So if you look, you got the belly right here, right? See how you can see how the tip is not hitting the stone? In order to hit the stone, I just lift my elbow, right? So when I'm coming across the stone, just like this, when I'm coming across, after I find my angle, I'm coming across, in order to get to the tip, I just lift my elbow until the tip hits. Don't raise it up too high. As soon as you see the tip barely hit, that's it. Then stop. Just like that. Now, as far as how I find my angle, if you want to know, like I said, you can just use the middle of your thumb. That works really easy, just so you're like, what angle am I going to do? Bam, that's a good angle. Okay, now I can just start there and start using that. But another little trick is when you hold your knife straight up and down like this, 90 degrees, okay? If you cut that in half, 45 degrees, okay? 90 degrees, 45 degrees. Now, if I cut that in half again, 22.5 degrees. That's a decent edge angle. You can do that or very little lower. We'll go to 17, and a little tiny bit higher. We'll go to 25. 25 would be a super tough edge. 17 will be a very sharp edge. So that's a general area that you can go to. And then, yeah, you just lock your wrist use your body to hold you want to basically lock your wrist to hold the angle, use your body to move the knife back and forth, and use your elbow to do the blade shape. So to move, body, or you can use your shoulders, one of the two, and then use your elbow to get to the tip. Let me see it. Do it again.
This is newspaper.
Oh yeah.
It is sharp. I only
Yeah,
use.
the European newspapers are easy to cut though, man.
I don't think so. Really, really. I mean, they are really fluffy.
No, I can tell it. I can tell it's really thin. I was just giving you shit.
Really, this is first. I get very happy at the beginning when I was cutting this, you know, and from this
Oh yeah,
to this was a long way for me. I can
yeah,
promise you that.
yeah. The difference in paper changes, just like going from paper to paper towel.
Yes.
That can take you a good amount of time. What'd you say, baby? Convex. So the way I do convex, this is how I teach convex sharpening. Lay the stone in your hand. Don't put it on the bench because you're going to move two different things here. So when you're doing it, grab this knife. So when you're doing it, you're going to lock your wrist the same, right? Lock your wrist. Do your best, and I mean absolute best, to not convex. You're going to convex no matter what, but because you're going to do your best not to, it's going to become a great convex. But that's only going to work if you do your best not to. So lock your wrist, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to go across the stone just the same and use your elbow to get to the tip, right? Just the same, but stay on the stone. Don't lift off of the stone, stay on it. Then once you get a good groove going with your knife, now you're going to start moving the stone with it. You're eventually going to, you could just leave the knife there and not even move the knife. Yeah, I'm literally not moving the knife at all. And so now you can do a little bit of both. And then it's really easy, actually. This is actually the easiest way to sharpen, by the way, is like this in hand. Most people will try doing on the bench and wind up resulting to this. And the reason why is because you can get right up to the edge and you can see it and you can watch it like this. And then also when you want to get the tip, you can just move the stone. Like it does make you have a lot more control. But that's how I teach my convex sharpening, and it always works. It'll always convex. It's impossible not to. You have two moving parts. What's up? A what? Roll? What do you mean by that? Oh, no, that'd probably be easier. She asked if cutting like a rolling paper would be harder, or like a cigarette paper would be more difficult or easier than a paper towel. I would say it'd be a lot easier.
Easier. The paper towels are.
Paper towels, that's like the elite. If you want to know the best edges, it's going to be paper towel cut test.
Yes.
It far surpasses anything you could imagine. If you even like hair whittling, right? Because with hair whittling, yes, that's also a good one for high levels of sharpness.
But only on a thin geometry it works.
And only for sharpness.
Yes.
This tells you both sharpness and bite.
Yes.
You know, so typically, if you can do that, your knife's a hair whittling edge.
Exactly.
And I'll show you when we're done, because I'll do one in just a minute. I'm gonna run through the stone really quick while you guys come with. Okay, you sure? All right. Do what you gotta do. All right, Kara's bouncing, and so now it's just us guys. So if you have any comments, I'm sorry if you have to leave them twice, but I'm gonna try to pay attention. Todd's gonna help. I know he always helps. But I know when they ask questions, sometimes it's like, you know, they're wanting me to show them. What? Oh, I know he does. I know Todd's the shit, man. Todd's a hardworking motherfucker. Like, he doesn't play. He's a good shit. He's definitely an asset to the team by far.
Oh, push cut.
For any cut. Push cut.
I still think paper towel would be harder.
Well, paper towel is not, that doesn't, push cut doesn't really work with paper towel as much. And the reason why is just because it's fibrous. So you need the serrations to snag the fibers, but that's also the point. Because otherwise what you're talking about isn't testing a quality edge. You're talking about just checking sharpness. Well, the problem with that is that you can have the sharpest edge in the world and it's absolutely shitty because it has no bite. Like you can have a super sharp edge and you go to cut with it and it just slips off of things. Like literally just slips, and that's a dangerous knife. You need the bite so that it keeps you in that cut. You ever try to cut like a thick zip tie or something plastic or a rope and you're like, and it just keeps slipping out? That's because your edge has no bite. So you need the bite and the sharpness. Oh, it'll bite. Bite your pecker off, boy. Dang old popsicles. What's the difference between wet and dry stones, and when do you use each? So I have both. So for diamond plates, anything that's just plates, like where it's just a metal stone with diamonds over the surface, they're going to be nothing. Doesn't matter. You just use them dry. This is a metal bonded diamond. So it is a metal. They basically liquefied metal, put diamonds all through it, dried it, and now it's a stone. So it doesn't require anything, but the same type of process with resin like this uses soapy water. There's really no time or reason when you use it, just use one or the other. However, wet stones, right? Wet stones, as far as like aluminum oxide, Japanese water stones, things like that, those are aluminum oxide. So those you soak in water. Now, I personally would only use those for chef knives because they're not, while some of them can cut really fast, they're not for high carbide steels. They're for softer steels, which nothing wrong with that. Oh, that's an 80. That one's even more aggressive. Oh, we got 325 right here. So we just moved from a 160, I think. Yeah, 160 to 325. I'm gonna start going through these pretty quick. But yeah, there's really no rhyme or reason aside from diamonds you can use for anything, especially for high carbide, high hardness super steels. And then wet stones that are not diamond, you use for mid-grade steels and lower. Softer steels, chef knives, or even just pocket knives that are softer. But the problem is they dish out, they do things. So diamonds typically don't dish. With bonded diamond, you do have to condition them with a little stone. You just scrub the surface and it keeps them flat and keeps the diamonds out. But diamond plates, there's nothing. You just set it down and go to town. And when it wears out, you replace it. Do you have any more knives to sharpen?
Yes, I will.
I was gonna say, if you want to, after you're done with the next one, I'll go faster with this one. I'm kind of taking my time. I can pull out. I got my fixed angled. We can do that next, or we can do the WORKSHARP. Which one do you want to do?
Let's do the WORKSHARP.
Okay. If you want to show anything with the fixed angled, just let me know and I'll pull back. How would you handle a blade with a thicker edge, freehand sharpening? How would you handle a blade with I'm gonna
Almost the same.
so you just spend a lot more time.
Exactly.
The lower the angle, it's so like with a thick edge, like here, this has a thick edge. This has a thick edge. Now, if I do a very low angle, this is where you could not damage, but you might feel like you ruined your knife, because if the bevel comes out and it's this big, literally like the bevel goes all the way up to like right there, you're going to be like, I just ruined my knife. And it's going to feel like that. So watch for thickness. Super thick knives, like you hear me say 17 degrees, 15 degrees. If you do a 15-degree bevel on something that's like 50, 60 thousandths thick, it's going to be like a Scandi grind. So with those, you're going to have to use a higher angle unless you're looking for a Scandi grind. But yeah, it's just more time and a lot more effort. Like a thick edge takes way longer than the hardest super steel on the planet that's thin edge. the steel removal, the amount is going to be the most difficult. It's not going to be the steel or anything else. It's going to be the thickness.
I did a bug 120. I spent it 3 hours to reprofiling with a 20-degree angle.
Absolutely. What angle was it?
20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it was 3-hour work.
And that on something like this would take minutes.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy how big of a difference that could be when 20 degrees is not even considered like yes, it's a very sharp edge, but it's not like a high level of sharpness edge. It's more of a happy medium. Great sharpness and toughness meets in the middle. That's 20 degrees. 17 degrees, sharpness goes up and toughness goes down a little bit. Then 15 degrees, sharpness goes up and toughness goes down. So, and then 22 degrees, toughness goes up, sharpness goes down.
Exactly.
See how it goes like that? So 20 is the balance.
Yeah.
And so that technically wouldn't
This is
even
a
be
20.
like a super low angle.
This give you a 20, the WORKSHARP field. It's really easy to use. I think so.
Yeah, go ahead, show them. I'm gonna just tune this up really quick and I'll catch right up to you.
So you have
I'll show
the
it deeper when I'm
angle
done.
right set up. You only lock your wrist and you do it only from your elbow. The angle is right here. I can do it one-handed. I can show you very fast how sharp I get this knife. Right now. Next one. And it's a big belly.
That was just soap and water. This is a resin bonded diamond stone. Flip my burr, and I'm going to be finishing here in a second. We're going to do a paper towel test. I'll show you guys how to remove a burr. Let him finish though, because that WORKSHARP will go really quick. What angle did you originally sharpen that knife at?
20. This is a butcher's knife.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
I got you.
so
I got you.
It's very
So it's
thin.
originally 20, and you're sharpening it at 20 right now.
Exactly. I mean, this is sharp.
Yes.
Only on the ceramic. I put no pressure here, so I don't rip the teeth.
Yeah, if you're wondering about pressure, I'd say 2 to 3 pounds is usually pretty good. You can go up to like 5 pounds or even more as long as you can maintain and hold the angle. Problem is, more pressure you push, the more likely you are to drop angle.
Yeah.
So, you know, the stone is going to cut regardless, but more pressure obviously is going to cut faster, but also the more likely you are to get fatigued and stuff. So I say 3 pounds is usually pretty good.
And on the leather, the same. Leather.
You need to try some knife Phil Wilson if you have it before that.
Phil Wilson. Is he a custom maker? Who's Phil Wilson?
Look. It wasn't so dull, but he needed some diamond. And look right now. All the way to
there
the
you
tip.
go. Looks great.
All the way
are they pretty? What are they?
Yeah, so the WORKSHARP, the field sharpener is very good for everything. I mean,
and fast.
Yes. They are very good diamond. Not the best, but
what
they
do you
are
do with
good.
spider go? Oh, okay. Okay, let me look at my scratches, make sure they're nice and even. Oh, I got a little bit more. Almost done. Then we're going to remove the burr. What's his name again? Phil Wilson, expert outdoorsman and knife maker. He did the Bow River. This is a 1200. About 1,000, 1,200. This was a 6. So this is the one I'm going to finish on really quick. 14C, you can take 14C all the way to a mirror polish. It loves it all. Doesn't matter if it's a toothy edge, medium grit edge. That's why I love 14C, and that's why I say learn on a steel like this. 14C, Nitro V, something like that. It's a steel that takes any type of edge really easily and very well.
What do you say about that? D2.
What's that?
D2.
Toothy.
Yes.
You want a toothy edge with D2. It has large carbides, and those large the type of carbides they are get very slick if they're not, because there's different types of carbides.
Yes.
And it has large carbides, so it's just good to and it's not even that they're that large, it has a lot of them, but it's the type of carbide it is, and it does better with a toothy finish. 400 to 600 grit is what I like. You can go up to 1,000 grit.
Yes.
I don't personally go over 1,000. Maybe 1,200, but I don't really go over that with D2.
No, I removed the burr with 1,000.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and that's another thing I would say to people is if you have the setup, that's why I said, try to get a ceramic or something like that. It's nice if you can use a finer stone to remove your burr. Like we're about to remove the burr off of this, and I can remove it with this stone because this is a fine enough stone. But like say if I finished at 600 grit, yes, I could remove my burr on the 600 grit, but it's just more likely to cause issues removing the burr. Now I think it's still good to get good at it because it teaches you how to struggle with different grits and stuff when removing a burr. But the difference between using, like, say, if you finish on a 600 grit and you go to 3,000 grit just to remove your burr, that's it, just to remove the burr, your edge bevel and apex come out way more sticky, a lot better. Okay, so we have, I'm gonna go just a little tiny bit longer because I got a little bit of burr I want to get.
There is no difference in Damascus steel to sharpen. I don't think so.
Well, it depends on the steel it is, because Damascus Damascus isn't a steel, it's a process. So yeah, there's no difference aside from what steel's in it. So like Damas steel is
better.
What's it called? It's basically CPM 154, but it's RWL 34. It doesn't do well with it. Well, so it mirror polishes too easily. That's the problem. And because it mirror polishes too easily, you lose all the bite. And it's not going to be, it'll be sharp, but it won't have bite. So like with Damas steel, you want to do a medium grit. Now, if it's a Damascus made out of, like, I just got some made out of 14C28M, that shit will take a mirror polish really well. So it just depends on what the, like, 10CR OS 10, a lot of companies are using that right now. That's decent. You can do pretty much any grit, but it's going to do better with a medium, but it still will work just fine. So burr removal. Okay, I'm going to use this same stone because it's fine enough, but watch what I'm going to do. So I just got finished with this side, so my burr is on this side, right? Finish this side, so I sharpen this side. My burr's on this side. I can feel it by rubbing my finger like this. That's how you find out if you have a burr with every stone. So once I finish this side, I make sure I have a burr, go to the other side, right? And so on and so on. Steven, thank you for the 2 bones. Thank you for the helpful info, Matt. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. So then what you do is just like you would do with a strop, right? You guys know how to strop. A strop like this, you go from tip to heel. Same thing with this, except for, well, even with that, no pressure at all. Like literally you can 2-finger it if you want to. Just make sure the tip, so you start from the tip, and if you sharpen, say at this angle, just go slightly higher. It doesn't matter how much higher, just a tiny smidgen higher, because all you're trying to do is snag the burr on the stone. Basically, the burr is sitting on your edge bevel. Picture this is my apex, and there's a burr like this. I'm trying to get the stone to come and hit that burr and flip it over to the other side. So I don't care about it touching my apex. I care about it snagging that burr. Now, thing is you want to flip it back and forth until it snaps off. That way it can reveal a clean apex. That's just going to lead to the stickiest, nicest apex. But if you just tear it off, now it'll take steel with it and stuff. So we want to fatigue it first. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some gentle passes. Very gentle, no pressure. And we're going to do it in reverse, just like stropping. No pressure, because the pressure will make you change your scratch pattern on your microscopic serrations. Then after you've done this a few times, then do a couple forward passes when you feel the burr has been mostly gone. When it's like 80% gone, now you can do a few forward passes, and you can do it at the angle you sharpened. And if you need to add a little tiny more pressure, you can, but still try to be gentle if possible. Because remember, your goal is not to change your scratch pattern, especially if you're going to a finer stone too. It's just to remove the burr. So our burr's gone. Now we got a strop, half micron stropping stuff. Best stropping compound in the business. Stroppy stuff. I've been really falling in love with this half a micron the past few weeks, couple months. It's this shit is fire. Half micron. I never ever found a half a micron anything like this. Never. This stuff is magical. There we go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're good. We're gonna do a paper towel test. The best way to check for sharpness. But we got to drop some stuff first. Here's the thing.
And the bite.
Yeah, the bite and sharpness. I need to move this mat over a little bit so you guys can see this. My hands are a little wet, so hopefully don't wet the paper towel. Yeah, I'm wetting it. Yeah, I'm wetting it. Damn it. Let me grab a. Let me go from a different angle. Give me 1 second. There's the knife. Grab. I grabbed a new roll so I can. When you start using a roll that's running out, it'll knock it over. So, and I got to dry this, and so now it's not very wide. Let me, I did feel, oh, feels good. All right, so let's try it now. Oh, it's cutting, but I feel like I have a little bit of a burr. Oh, it's good. Look at that.
Yeah, that's nice. And doing while
And it did a swirl.
while you are talking.
So
and
I do
everything.
notice that I could hit it on the strap for a few more seconds. Not much though. I probably could reapply some compound on here because I have been using this for. I've been beating the shit out. Like I said, I've been using this primarily for everything, and I have a whole bunch of strops in all different compounds, and I typically run through a different, like a variety. But that half a micron, man, is just so good. This I think is 9 micron, so a little bit more aggressive. Yeah, it should have. Shop. Woo! Did you see that? Look at that. That is very
Sharp.
very sharp. Very sharp.
Yeah.
We got a lot of paper towels we're going to use. But don't worry, we're going to use them all. We use a lot of paper towels in this house, especially the ones I cut up. We don't need Kara having a heart attack. All right, let's see some comments. Steven, I have the Cadet Pro. It's a very good system. Yes, the Cadet's really good. I prefer the Pioneer over the Cadet. There is a lot of attachments for the Pioneer now. So you can basically take the Pioneer, and I've got them all. You can take the Pioneer, and while it's going to be very expensive to do if you do this, but there are so many attachments you can get for that system now. Like I have different bases, I have different stone hole, different everything. But just getting the Pioneer by itself is one of the best systems. Just get the single clamp. Make sure you get the single clamp. The single clamp is so important right there. Get that. The Y clamp, single clamp, whatever you want to call it, that's going to be your most used clamp. The clamps that come with it are good, but you can't get them to go together. They're going to be a little wide. So if your blade's a little shorter than that, you're gonna need that single clamp. Or the Y clamps. There's also those.
They are for everyday carry, this single clamp. For chicken knives, it's better the 2 clamps.
All right, so I could pull out this system right now, I suppose. Or we could do the work. I could do the workshop too with you. I don't know. Should I do the fixed angle? I could. Let me just clean up my mess really quick if I'm gonna. This system is a new one. It should be coming to the United States soon. It's really good. It is definitely giving TS Prof a run for their money. It's a definitely an elite system for sure. It's I don't think it's going to be nowhere near as expensive as the TS Prof. I mean, it's obviously still going to be expensive. You can see it's going to be expensive, but I'm pretty sure it's not too shabby. After that. All right. So what I do is I take this guy. This is just to hold the rod. I'm going to drop it in right here. And I can use this as a stone compensator too. And then I attach these two doohickeys. Like this. I did show, I should have maybe I should have pulled out that the TS Prof clone system. That one's really, really good for beginners because you can save yourself hundreds of dollars on the system. Save yourself hundreds of dollars on the system and just get that one center clamp, and then you'll basically spend about $200 altogether for a decent sharpening system, for what a great sharpening system. But you to get really good stones, that's the one thing you will be lacking with. Right, why is this? Oh yeah, like that. There we go. So now I'm going to sharpen the stitch. Microtech stitch.
Very nice.
Badassery. Or should we do the Microtech MSI? Which one do you guys think? Or we're gonna sharpen something else. I got a lot of shit. We got the Ben Banter's bougie, the bougie banter. This is pretty cool. Hapstone RS or TS. So the Hapstone RS is great, but if you watch my top 5 favorite knife sharpening systems, I put TS Prof K03 at number 1. The Hapstone RS got 4th place, I think. Yeah. So it's really good though. It is a really good system. And every system in that list is really good. Now, my list might be a little different now that I've tried some of these other ones, and I have like 5 fixed angle sharpeners that I'm testing right now. But every system, I still stand by those systems like that I said in that video. And that was after testing, I couldn't even tell you how many systems. A lot. K03 right now is still the best because they have every attachment you could ever imagine, but they're also very expensive. This hopefully in the end will have just as many attachments if they're serious, which I think they are. Now I could put Captain tape on the spine, just because I think I would recommend it to you guys. So I wouldn't do it on this knife because I don't care if it gets scratched. I'll throw this thing across the room. And I'm not saying that because I have such a big knife collection. I'm saying that because it's, to me, this personally is like a work knife. Granted, yes, it's expensive. It's a USA made knife, but to me, this is a knife you don't treat like a little baby. This is a worker, something you can be tough on, and it's made to be that way. So
Yeah, it's
might as well
nice
use it
for
that way.
either way.
You know what I found? I don't know if you've had this experience, but the knives that I baby are the ones that always get scratched and always get messed up. And the ones I beat on the most are the ones that people would be like, man, you are you sure you even use that thing? Aside from it being sharpened, you know, and you seeing that it's had a bunch of edges on it, aside from that, like they tend to not have as many scratches. Of course, some do, but man, there's so like my Benchmade Griptilian right now. I've had that. When did we go to Colorado with the Benchmade Griptilian? 2019. I've had since. It's had countless edges put on it. I've used it for just about everything, and it's still, it looks like it doesn't have a scratch on it, aside from, you know, the edges that have been on it.
Yeah, I use every knife that I have. Right now I have the Kaiser titanium, and I did start to use it hard.
Oh, the original.
The
That's a good
original,
one.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I almost pulled that one out the other day. I thought about doing putting it in a video again soon because it hasn't been shown in a while, and that's a good one. I don't know, is it discontinued?
No.
It's not? Okay,
No,
good.
no. It's okay. I like it very much, but I don't know, maybe it's only with mine. The button catches a little bit every time.
Yeah.
You know? When I press
Yep.
it, I can feel it there, and sometimes it's annoying.
Okay. So, is it easy for you to get knives over there, or is it tougher? Is it easy? Does it depend on the brand? What companies will ship to you?
I mean, we have here in my country there is no store or website for like Spyderco, Benchmade, CVV.
No stores, but I'm saying for ordering, you can order from like Blade HQ.
Blade
I'll tell you
HQ,
what, if you
no.
want to get a Neve Knife Co. knife, if you want to get a Neve Knife Co., I know our store won't ship out of the country. Just
No, we will not.
contact me. Just message me. I'll get one to you. You
Okay.
just got to pay for the shipping. That's the whole thing. So yeah, these are
Yes.
from Hapstone.
Yes. I did order something from you 2 weeks ago, like a sweater. But
You ordered one?
what?
Hold on 1 second. What the fuck is that other side? Oh, right here. Did you order one of the offenders?
No, I could not. You do not.
That's what I'm saying. If you wanted to, just let me know, and I'll have you contact my partner Chase, and you just got to pay for the shipping. You know, obviously you got to take the risk, but if you do DLT, or DLT, whatever it is, the overseas shipping, then it's going to be safe. It'd just be a little bit more expensive to
Yes,
ship.
yes.
Let's see here.
Of course I want it. I will text you after that.
There you go.
Yeah. But to get
And
knives,
then and once you message him, you can pick out what the hardware you want and stuff for when it comes in, because we're going to be shutting that down, guys, in probably about 1 week. We're going to be shutting down the pre-orders for the individual hardware. Like, you get the knife right away as soon as you order it, but the hardware, we have it on pre-order, all different colors. So if you want to switch it, so it's going to come with hardware. Obviously, it's going to be it's a knife, but if you want different color hardware and stuff like that. All right, so I'm using to start. I'm using premium silvers. These are from USA Market. Really good stones. Link down in the description. Not sure if they're in stock yet. I know they're in stock in the European store. They're on the way here right now. These are some of the best coarse stones. So for reprofiling stuff for bonded stones. I just want to fix this.
right now I use the Vinev stone for the reprofiling.
What's that?
I use the Vinev stones, MS1.
Vineves are really good too. Vineves, all of them are great. All of them are great.
Yeah, they are
These
pure
silvers, the silvers require no liquid, no nothing.
Exactly.
So I really like them for that reason. We need to check my edge angle, and I did not bring a digital angle finder over here like an idiot. Do I have one right here? Let's go bring it. So what I'm doing is I'm zeroing out my digital angle finder, making sure it's perfectly flat. I have my bar or my rod right here. I'm gonna set it on the rod. And I'm gonna check the angle. We want to go higher than that. So we're gonna check out 17 really quick. This one's a little thinner behind the edge than the MSI. So right there. That's close enough. So now I'm gonna lock that in, and I'm just gonna check it by doing a couple passes. Now I also want to move you guys over just a little bit just to check this. See how I have rod stoppers here and here? So this one's to stop it from falling off my knife, so it can't fall off the edge. Now this one I want to make sure doesn't allow me to go up the blade, right? So I want it to stop right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push that up. I'm going to squeeze that. It has bounce, so it has a spring to kind of bounce you back, so it's not just going to be abrupt, so you'll feel it, but it's always good to have those little indicators. Okay, yeah, we're gonna just finish this one, then we'll get out of here. How many people do we have here? 180. Okay, so with fixed angle sharpening, obviously it holds it for you, right? It does most of it. These type of systems are expensive. There's all different kinds, but the beautiful thing is it holds it and it holds my stone. With a system like this, I can use any type of stones I want that are 1x6, which is really cool. Technically, I could use even bigger because I can move this if they make them longer. But it's cool because I can just set it down, and all I got to do is grab the end of the rod and move it up and down. But that doesn't mean that's all you do, because there is tricks and problems you can have. The biggest problem you absolutely will have is going like this. Can you see that? No, you can't. Yeah. Right there. See the tip right there? Your biggest problem is going to be going like this and then going off of the tip like that. You're going to roll it. And with a tip like this, it'll take one time and it will absolutely round it. It'll take you hours to get that out. So what you do is you always stop as soon as you hit the tip. You never let the tip of the knife go past the center of the stone ever. By any circumstances, never. And one way to just be safe is I'll put my finger right here just like this. And as I'm going up, I can feel it hit. And then if I did have to go over a little bit, my finger's stopping. If I move my finger right now, it would totally just fall. So I'm bracing it. So now I have a little bit more area where I can actually feel the stone hit the tip, because sometimes tips can give you a little bit of problem because there'll be, I call them potholes, but it's like there's like an area that can't get hit unless if you remove enough steel. But sometimes if you can put your finger under there, you can hit it because you can kind of grind into it a little bit better. Now, same thing with the like if you have a tanto, you can do a tanto like that too, where you do the single edge and you have the secondary tip. I have a tanto right here. I can show you, but I don't think I do.
I do not have either.
But yeah, if you have a tanto, there's two angles on it. And I just did a tanto video on how to sharpen a tanto and how to sharpen a recurve tanto. Watch that video. It teaches you exactly how to do it to perfection, where it's so easy, you're not going to be scared to do it. I had to take it free and buy the diamond stones for it. Okay, so I'm putting my finger there, so I'm looking at my edge. Yes, it is a nice low angle, but it doesn't look like it's going to take too long, especially with a, what is this one? The 160 silver bond, which is a metal bonded diamond, or I think it's metal bonded CBM. Yes, metal bonded CBN stone. Basically the same thing as diamond. Okay, so I can see that the tip is going to be a little more difficult to hit because I have to remove quite a bit of steel to get it, which is fine. We just got to keep working on it. Now, anytime you work on one area or another,
You blend it in.
so for an example, if I work on, excuse me, if I work on this area right here, right? If there's a spot that you're not getting, what you can do is you can just go like this with your stone, just watch it really gently, tilt it towards the area you want to hit, just ever so slightly, and you can work on that area just by using the edge. The thing is never do that more than like a couple times, like done. Now I'm going to blend it. Anytime you work on one area, say if I work on this area for a second, blend it. Work on this area, blend it. Always do that. Otherwise, it'll get away from you and it'll be a lot more difficult and you'll wind up having two different angles going. So you can work on one area, no problem. Just make sure you're blending it in all the time, consistently and constantly. Bro has all the newest stones. I'm jealous of myself. I need to get better. Yeah, I do. But I am very privileged in that way. I would say you should just get one incredible set and you'll have everything I have. One set of bonded stones is all you need. Resin bonded or hybrid bonded is what I would go with. That's personally what I would say. Resin bonded diamonds or CBN or hybrid bonded metal or sorry, hybrid bonded CBN or diamond, because then you will have, if you get a whole set, they're going to be expensive, but that whole set will get you from a coarse edge all the way to an ultra fine edge. They'll practically last you your whole life, and they'll give you any edge you want and sharpen any steel, and you will have the high performance stones I have in one set. Now, I will say that if you're doing freehand, there is obviously bonded stones for freehand, no problem. We've already used them today. I do think it's still good to have a set of diamond plates if you can. You don't have to if you have the bonded stones. You don't have to. You could just go without it. But it's nice to have one very, very, very aggressive diamond plate, whether it's for fixed angled or freehand, because like when you run into an issue where you're sharpening something really thick or you're sharpening something that's giving you problems, it'll remove steel fast and then it'll get you to the bonded stones where, you know, it'll take a lot longer otherwise. And a ceramic is good for just honing and maintenance. Now, I will be honest, if you have a fine bonded stone, you have the best honing, best maintenance stone, best everything. They are the best of the best. So when you have like a 3,000 to 5,000 grit bonded stone, you could use that for honing. You can use that for so many things, micro beveling and all kinds of stuff. They are the best. So then you technically don't need the ceramic, but one thing a ceramic does better than anything is doing a fast, rapid micro bevel. Okay, I'm not going to finish this before I flip. Because I can see the tip's going to take quite a bit longer than the rest of the edge. So I'm going to work on the other side, try to match it up, and then come back to this side. That is something I do encourage people. If you have one part of the edge taking too long, don't just sit there and work on that side. Like, you're supposed to do the entire side and then flip over to the other side. But if you can see, I've got a burr on the entire edge, and there's just one little piece, one little part that's not done yet, flip it over to the other side. You don't want to get ahead of yourself. What if the other side goes fast, right? And now your bevel is like way bigger than the other side. So get to the other side, even it up a little bit, and then come back if you need to. Now, you might run into the same issue, which is fine, but at least then you can decide if you want to get that out on the next sharpening, because 98% of your edge is good. And that little spot that you see that you haven't hit the apex on isn't going to hurt anything, right? It's not going to prevent you from doing any cuts. It's going to cut just the same. Everything's going to be fine. It's just visual. It's not a good thing for you to remove all the steel it's going to take to get rid of it You're going to remove years of steel in order to get something that's insignificant. Get it on the next sharpening. Use your knife. Love it. Don't worry about that little spot. Just know when the next sharpening will come out. I used to beat myself up on those little things, like almost like embarrassed to leave something like that, like I wasn't supposed to. And I realized after ruining multiple knives, how irresponsible it was that I continued trying to get something out that was just going to take an incredible amount of steel to get rid of. And it just wasn't responsible because it didn't matter. Nobody else in the world could see it. No, there wasn't no cut test that would be affected by it. Nothing. Like I could literally do every cut test still, and you know, whittling hair and everything. It's basically just a visual. Again, tip of my finger. I'm gonna set it right there. So now I can hit the tip without fear of going over it, and I can make sure I feel the stone grinding into that tip. Gotta watch out for that. Poke myself. Yeah, you got to make sure you tighten this. I didn't get myself too bad, but you got to make sure you tighten this. This one, man, I feel like it's tightened all the way. That's the one problem is TS Prof is stronger with this.
And you can adjust.
If you put too much pressure on this, like you see how it folded. Let me grab a Band-Aid. This is a good time for skin Band-Aids from my medic. But yeah, man, it's kind of weird, man, that this one doesn't go a little bit stronger.
Yeah, on the KO3 you can adjust the tension.
Yeah, I can adjust it on here too, but it doesn't. I think I got it like as strong as it'll go, and it's not really.
They will fix that probably.
So again, when you're doing the tip, you know, obviously be gentle. Don't put too much pressure depending on the system you have. So this one, yeah, man, I got it. I mean, I can crank it tighter. Let me see how much tighter I can go. It's just so much harder. Yeah, that's not that much tighter. I mean, I think it's yeah, that feels weaker almost. Let me see if I go the other way. Maybe I'm just doing the wrong way. Maybe you guys are backwards over there in Ukraine. It's just such a hard cranker. Let me see if I can. I don't know. I don't think this does anything.
I did
Wait,
have
does it?
to
No, it just rotates that.
use the ceramic to take the burr out with this one.
You did what?
I used the ceramic to take the burr out because it didn't.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think
that's a good way to do it.
It's a very not tough.
Yeah, the ceramic it will remove a burr very quickly. The one thing you want to be careful on is just don't put pressure because it will go through your burr and damage your edge.
Exactly.
So like if you put pressure on a ceramic, it'll just rip your burr off and go right down to your edge and cut into it.
Exactly.
So very gentle.
But here it's not catching anything.
Right. You can hear it.
Yeah.
Very good.
So it's nice. I think the fixed angle sharpeners are more for the, I don't know, people that loves their knives, you know?
Say that again, sorry.
For the fixed angle system are for the people that love more their knives. Because you can get it exactly, you know, you can see the numbers.
Yeah, I would say both. I'd say it depends because some of the free people that I know free and sharp, they find it more passion in it. So like it just depends on you. If you don't care so much about sharpening, it's more about just getting your nice knives sharp or your knives period sharp, then yeah, fixed angle is just the way to go. But if you're passionate about sharpening and it's like, because to me it's like therapeutic, like I can sit here all day and sharpen. I love trying to like if I'm doing something wrong, I love seeing it and then figuring out what to do right. Like it's a little bit of a journey, but once you get there, there's nothing you can't sharpen anywhere, any place. You don't have to carry around a 50-pound system. You can literally just nothing, right? So you can do it on a rock if you want to. So there is a superpower in that. However, he's right. Fixed angled is going to get you a perfect edge like that without like a tenth of the effort.
Yes, yes.
So if you just want if you have very nice knives and you're very passionate about your knives and you just want to get them nice and sharp, and it's not about sharpening to you, it's more about just getting that edge, then yeah, I absolutely would just get a fixed angled.
Yeah, you're right. I don't have a problem. I have to leave
You what?
because I have to go to work.
Go ahead, take off. I'm gonna finish this one. I'm gonna get out of here too.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So thank you very much for everything.
Thank you.
I enjoy every moment. Hope you
I
see how I
appreciate you joining
sharpen these knives.
Make sure you guys go and subscribe really quick. Give him some more subscribers. There's 253 people in here. Todd, can you please link his channel really quick so people can just click on it and go subscribe?
Yeah,
I appreciate it, brother.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So
thank you, Simon, man. I appreciate you joining, man.
yeah.
Talk to you later.
Bye. Have a good one. Peace
and then
out.
hit me up about the fender before they're sold out.
Yes. I will text you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Later, brother.
Bye.
Yeah, guys, like I was telling you, he's got a TS Prof he was going to give to you guys. I actually talked him out of it because, I didn't want him to give away such an expensive system to take. And it's not about getting something out of it, but obviously as a channel, he obviously wants to get subscribers over there. He's really passionate about sharpening. He wants to do sharpening stuff. And he especially wants to teach people over there in his country, but anywhere, right? Because there's a lot of people that are from his country that are here in my country. But my point is just that he wasn't ready. He needs to build the channel a little bit more before he's giving away, $1,000 system to some random person, because most likely the person that would get it wouldn't even be a knife guy. It'd be just some random on YouTube, and you feel bad when you have actual people that actually would care about the product, and the guy who wins it is a guy who don't care two shits about the product. Let me back you guys up a little bit since he's gone. Sorry, it's bouncing really quick. Just give me 1 second. Let me just find that little happy spot for you. Bang. So, like I said, when I'm working on one area, gotta blend it. Get that thumb underneath the tip. And you're working on the tip. And then blend it. The tip in this area is definitely a little thicker on this side and then this side. That happens to be the grind. That's not me. That's the which you're gonna run into this all the time with sharpening. Misgrind. Now, when you hear misgrind, you're like, that means it's bad, which I guess technically it is. It's a mistake, but it's such a common thing that some grinds are going to be a little thicker on one side than the other. Now, when it's really horrendous, yes, it sucks, but it's something that will commonly happen. Right now, the heel is not hitting really well. So again, I'm just going to tilt it this way to get that heel, but only a couple passes. And then I'm blending it. This thing is such a sharp tip. When that thing folded on me, man, stabbed me right in the damn finger because it's so sharp. This thing is, that's a big burr. I don't even like to do a big burr like that, but yeah, this side's a little smaller. I'm going to have to work on this side a little bit longer. Let me knock the burr off really quick. Then we're going to get to a different stone. Because that other side is thicker. Again, like I just said, this side's thinner than this side. So this side has a bigger bevel than this side. So what I'm going to do to compensate, I'm going to work on the smaller side longer, which will remove steel from the bigger side. This side will make this side bigger. The bevel will grow bigger. The longer you're sharpening, the bigger it'll get. But it'll remove some from the other side, allowing it to even up. And then we're going to switch to a different stone. Once we get to the next stone, it'll be smooth sailing all the way to finishing. Like, it'll be really quick. So lucky. It could have been bad. Yeah, it could have been. But I've had that happen with just about every system. Technically, I've even had it happen with TS Prof, Hapstones one time. I was putting so the one I have is the RS. It's a magnetic thing, so it's a magnetic ball that just pops right there. If you're putting too much pressure here, it'll go snap, it'll pop right off. And one time it did it, and I wasn't expecting it. Like, I was putting quite a bit of obviously too much pressure, and it scared the shit out of me. Like, because that is because you're putting pressure. So when you hit like full force like that into something so sharp, send you to the damn hospital. Did you guys see that video I did on what I would carry or what I do carry as a felon for self-defense? Did you guys see that? Because what do you want? Because I showed in that video the T-Kel, mine and T-Kel's knife design. Do I have it sitting over here? Oh no, I moved it. I got the FLN, the second version coming, and it's dude, it is so badass. There we go. That's a lot more even. All right, so we're gonna switch stones. We are going to move, we're just gonna go through the bond or the hybrids. You know what? Where did that other set go just now? All right. Yeah, that FLN, man, is so badass. It is like, dude, with that deep hollow grind that I had Precision Knife Works help me out with on all of them. We're dropping a small batch of them each month, and dude, they're scary good. Like, if you watch what Tim did with that pork loin, it was such a gentle slash, and I'm talking about, like, if that was a human, there is no saving it. It's not possible to save that human. It was that dramatic. I was not expecting it to be as crazy and deep and everything as it was, but that's what it was designed for, and that's what I was saying when I designed it originally, or when we designed it. Right? He did the handle, I did the blade, but the point was to be a self-defense knife that nobody could stop you from getting. That's very fast, very rapid, and anybody can use it. The next thing was it was supposed to be the most devastating a small knife could be. That's why it's a hawk bill. However, the first batch was thick behind the edge, thick grind. I wasn't happy with it like I wanted to be, because it wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't what I designed. This one actually is the original first design we did. See how fast that stone went? Once you reprofile, the next stones are fast. 60. 650. Now this one's a vitrified. No, this one's a silver too. Okay, I thought it was vitrified. Guess not. Come on. I do like that they do put a little safety feature right here, kinda. So, like, if your edges, if you're going up like that, you'll hit this part of the stone before you'll go into your finger, which most systems don't have. But see, because I'm not jumping, like, I'm not going from 300 to 2000. I'm literally jumping 160, 325, now to 650. So I don't have to spend a long time on the stones. These stones are aggressive enough to get out the scratches from the last stone and replace it with the new ones. And I don't have to spend a long time on them. I just want to make sure I'm keeping my bevels even, because this one was a little bit smaller. So I just want to make sure I'm spending a little bit more time on this side than this side. But it's going well. Now we are to, this is a 15. Let's see what this one is. That's the one we just used, right? 325, yeah. Over here. 225, 285. Yep. Then we have 550. So we did 650. Now we want to go to the 1500. Where did the I must have skipped the vitrifieds. Make sure your scratches are all being very consistent or in the same direction. Make sure they're very uniform. You want them to be identical. Not only the depth, but the direction, the angle, everything. The spots that are different are typically the spots you haven't hit. Sometimes it's you adding too much pressure or not enough or something, but you're trying your best to make sure that they look like a saw blade, basically. Like if I put it under a microscope right now, that's what it looks like. It looks like a saw blade. It's a bunch of scratches running at an angle, or like a serrated blade. Okay, so now we are going to skip and go to some fine stones. We want to go, we were at 1500. We're going to go to 5,000. We're going to go to 3,000. This is a resin or a hybrid bonded diamond stone. So it's basically a resin and metal mixed, but the resin makes it where it does require a little bit of lubrication. It is not very porous though. Very smooth on this, on the edge. Not a lot of feedback on these like the other ones. However, I prefer the feedback. Feedback is just the feeling, the sound, the everything you get from the stone, the experience. And it lets you know a lot of indicators. A lot of people use it to hold their angle. Like they use the feedback to know, like, because like if the sound changes, well, then you know I changed my angle just now, right? Like you can hear that it's consistent, but it takes a little while to get that down. But these I've always loved the feedback bonded stones give you. Like I said, when you get to the finer grits, kind of like a ceramic or something, you don't have much feedback. That's the one downfall people always bitch about with ceramics is there's hardly any feedback. Now with rods, yes, rods, you feel them really cutting into your edge. So that's it's a little different with rods, but as far as plates go. Bob Smith, just speed, light pressure is all you need with any diamonds, I found. Yeah. Yeah, you don't need much pressure at all. I always say 3 pounds of pressure is just fine, 3 to 4 pounds. You don't need to go any more than that. You don't need to go any less. Well, depending on what you're doing. If you're removing a burr, you use no pressure at all, like none. You're literally just letting the stone touch it and maybe the weight of the stone. But if you're sharpening and like actually like using a coarse stone, like say 300, like anywhere from 100 to 600, I say use, like I said, 3 to 5 pounds of pressure. You just don't want to add so much pressure that you're flexing anything, that you're shifting anything, that you're pushing, making anything move, or if you're doing freehand, making your angle change, because that's what will happen. It's easy to hold your angle, especially over time, because what you can do when you first start is going to be a lot different than 20 minutes into it. So you want to be able to do something that you can consistently do, because I tell you what, when you change, like say if I go from doing 3 pounds of pressure to 10 pounds of pressure, that is going to make a huge difference in the edge bevel, and it's going to be way different. So you want to try to consistently do the same thing if possible, aside from when you do burr removal. In that case, that's no pressure. But when you get through to the upper stones, it's better to start going lighter and lighter, lighter and lighter. Now I'm going to be more and more gentle, because now my scratches, I got all the deep scratches out. These aren't as big of scratches. We are at 5,000 grit right now, and we are going to leave it there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a strop now. Half micron. Once again, like I said, some of the best stropping compound. I really like all the stroppy stuff, compounds or emulsions, but this half micron, man, has been impressive. All right, so with stropping, right? I don't have to worry about my burr right now because I'm at 5,000 grit. There's not really going to be a burr. I know it's gone. I know I reached my apex. I know I had a burr all the way up to 15,000 or 1,500 grit. So now I'm going to rest my strop onto the edge. I'm not going to apply any pressure, and I'm just going to let the weight of the rod and the strop be the pressure, and I'm going to run it downward, going from tip to heel. You do not want to push up, otherwise it'll cut into the leather. You can do 2 or 3 passes, very gentle, then move to the other side. Do the same thing. Start at the tip. Make sure it's flat, though. Don't go like that. Like, make sure it's just flat on the edge. Again, you don't want to go past like the center of the strop or stone. Now, I typically will do this same motion with my stone, especially if I'm removing a burr at like 1,200 grit. Thing is, this one didn't have much burr or any burr, and I could tell, so I didn't need to do that. But in some cases, I do. I can just touch my nail to that thing, and I can tell it is a damn sharp. All right, let's find that little thing. I'm gonna have to use my damn driver now. All right, let's touch this puppy. Oh, it's gonna be so fucking sharp. I can already tell. Because this has a little bit of a thicker edge. So me going 17 is technically a very low angle for this. And it is, a super steel. Let's grab the fuller one. The fuller ones are always easier. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Let's do a swirl. Let's see if we can do a swirl. Yeah, we can. All the way down to the bottom. That's sharp. Now, just because I know you guys love the dang old paper test. Woo! We'll do a paper towel roll test too. Oops, that was my fault. Look at them swirls. You can just dance through this thing. Just dancing. It's just dancing. All right, let me grab this paper towel roll. This one's a little wonky though. It's a little better. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a snap cut. So I'm just gonna go. I could do one of these where I just slowly do it, which I could do, but I want to do a snap cut. So we're gonna do a snap cut. Oh man, I can't believe I just stopped it. That was my fault. That was totally my fault. All right. So there it goes. Yeah, buddy. Oh, is the blade long enough? Yeah, it is. Look at how long that cut was. Holy shit. That's a long cut. Normally it's a lot lower. Let's go right down the center. That's shot. Yeah, buddy. Let me find that. Oh, it's right here. Hit it on the strop again since I'm cutting cardboard and I'm crazy. With a big bevel, by the way, Stropping is much easier. If you go with a low angle and you have a bigger bevel, stropping, honing, and all of that is much easier. And the reason why is because one, the apex is thinner, so there's less material to remove. There's less effort, less everything in order to get back sharp. Another thing is, which, and this is very important, it's much easier to see when you're hitting your bevel. For example, you can see how sharp the edge is right there. Now watch when I lift it up. It's so easy to see that it's touching, right? But when it's like this big, it's much harder to see a little tiny bevel compared to a big one. See how shiny that shit was? Very sharp. Run your nail, take your nail of any finger and just let the apex rub it like that. It should feel like oiled glass. No, you should feel no nicks, no nothing. It should just be slick. That means that you have a very good apex. And then you should touch it with your fingers, just your skin, and just touch it like that. And it should feel like little teeth. So it should catch your skin, and that's telling you it has good bites. You have good sharpness or a good clean apex, and then bite. If you feel any nicks, dings, or anything like that, then you know you didn't do, then you know the burr didn't come completely off, or it had micro tear out, one of the two. So we're gonna bolt shit for about 2 minutes, and then we'll get the hell out of here. So if you guys have any questions or anything, let me know before we close shop. I got a mess. What a mess. Paper towel and tax write-off. Got it. Glad you said that. I'm gonna remember that. Thank you, Steven. Appreciate you, man. My new fixed strops are overloaded. So I've been using my Aid Trusty Free straps I made years ago. Still weird stropping on a fixed system for me. Gotta break those new ones in. I'll use different pressures for different kinds of steels and how hard or soft they are. I can see that. I want a setup like this. Been using traditional stones for years, and that's definitely my favorite way thus far. Picked up a tumbler recently, and that's still strange to use. So the tumbler is only going to be good for kitchen knives. I don't know what you're sharpening, but kitchen knives is what the tumbler, and I would say don't even get the tumbler. Get the Horrell, or the one I just recently did a video on. That one's really good. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but if you just scroll down I have a playlist. My playlist has a sharpening playlist. If you go to my main page, just scroll over to playlist and then click playlist, and you'll see sharpening. You go to sharpening, you'll see it. It's not too far away. That one is really good, but those rolling knife sharpeners are not all built equally. You want to get a better quality one. I'm not saying spend a lot more money, but you need a better quality one. The tumbler is shit. The magnets are weak. I'm not saying it's not working for you. I'm just saying, like, if you tried one of the Horrell, you'd be like, oh my goodness, like this is like a completely different thing. Jared must be bowling with all those paper towels he uses to check sharpness, and he ain't using the cheap paper towels. Well, I use the paper towels still. Like, I still use them to clean my stones and stuff. And they are write-offs. I would not have thought bigger bevel being easier. So, oh, it's far easier. Yeah, and it's because of this. High angle, low angle. Look at how thick. I'm gonna circle it. Look at how thick the apex is on one and the other. This one's much smaller, so it's less material that needs to come off. So when you're hitting this, for you to cut that off and make a new apex, or to just barely grind it back to true, is much easier than something that's that's thick. That's why also this has better edge retention. This is tougher, but this has better edge retention because they're going to wear down the same, right? As this wears down, let's say it wore down to here. Well, when you wear down that much here, look at how thick it is. So this is dull now. This is still sharp. That's why lower angles, thinner grinds, that geometry cuts. Geometry is the #1 most important thing with any knives. It's more important than anything is just geometry. Obviously, heat treatment, HRC is all extremely important things, but I'm just saying the geometry is the most. It is the difference between everything: toughness, sharpness, edge retention. Same thing with heat treatment and HRC and stuff, but like I said, it's a huge factor, the biggest. Hey, Jared, first time I've managed to catch you live, man. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for jumping in. Thanks for all your work and content, man. I appreciate you watching, man. That means a lot to me. I appreciate you jumping in. I try to do a live once a week. I do one every other week with everybody, and then I do one every other week with the members, and the members get a giveaway. And then so we do sharpening, giveaways, and you know, we have different stuff, and we're a little crazier over there, a little more non-YouTube friendly. This is true. My Spyderco Tenacious cuts just as long as my Cold Steel Ultimate Hunter. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, geometry is a massive factor. Like, I did an edge retention test, just for an example. I did an edge retention test between two of the exact same companies, 20 CVs, made around the same time, everything. And I've done multiple tests from this company, so I know it's done pretty consistently. And the thinner grind from the same steel got, like, I think 75 to 100. It was like 75 to 100 more feet. It was quite a bit more cutting than the other one did. With the same test of 1 inch section of the blade, you know, doing a cut test on cardboard, 1 inch section of the blade until it stops cleanly cutting paper. It was still sharp, but yeah, same here. Just got into fixed sharpening in December after a life of freehand, and it has consumed me. Found you back in November. Oh yeah, that's what I like to hear. No, I think it's good because I think sharpening is, like I said, I think it's very therapeutic for men. I think it's just in our bloodline. I think our ancestors, in many cases, died on battlefields, fought wars, needed to survive. And even now, there's people out there that still, you know, need their arrows, for hunting. They need their knives for skinning, the butchers, and so on and so on. We can't survive without knives, right? We can't survive without knives. And that's what it's been since the beginning of time. And there's no way around that. You can have all the iPhones you want and rockets to the moon, but if you take away the fucking knife, we go extinct. We need knives. So I think it's just in our bloodline, in our DNA. And I think that sharpening is something that, like I said, I think it's just passed down generation to generation. In fact, years ago, you were, and I think we still are to some extent, but you were identified by your knife or by your sword. Like, you could tell if you were a peasant, you could tell if you were somebody. And like, families would take swords, knives, whatever that maybe their grandfather fought in battle with or did whatever with, maybe it was just his daily knife, and pass it down to their children, right? And you'd see knives go generation to generation, especially if they were good quality ones. And today, just like 1,000 years ago, 400 years ago, and 200 years ago, we made knives from the best materials on the planet that we had at the time. And now we do the same thing. Now, there's some that are not made out of the best materials. They're still really good, but I'm saying we do that, right? We never stop doing that. Like I said, it's in our bloodline, man. So when when you're passionate about sharpening and things like that, to me, it's like, of course, men are going to be passionate about sharpening. Of course, men are going to like getting sharp edges. And because another thing, man, I always think about this because, like, and I think a lot of men do this, where we die 1,000 times a day in scenarios in our head. And I even said this to Kara a long time ago. It's like, you don't realize, like, by noon, I probably already died 1,000 times in my head. The point is that you've already put yourself in so many scenarios, just walking up the stairs, answering the door. What if this happened? What would I be willing to do? If a bear fell out of a tree, what am I going to do? Right? Am I going to run at it or run away? Like, if my kids are there, wife's there, whatever, right? And you've already made those decisions in your head of what you're going to do, right? Like, I'm not fucking running, right? Like, I'm running at it, if anything. You know, that type of mentality. Or like, you know, if I was driving and I watched a car roll over and there's a baby stuck in a car and it's on fire, are you going to go into the fire and fucking get it out? I mean, I think a lot of us would, right? And I think it's just in our blood to do that. Can you imagine having to do that? And then you get there and your fucking knife won't even cut the seatbelt. Can you imagine? Can you imagine not being able to save a child or just anything? You know what I mean? Like, I think of all different, I always get this one, like a dog comes out of nowhere and attacks your child or your niece or your nephew or neighbor's child or whatever. And I don't care if you have a gun on you. You're not going to shoot it because it'll go through and hit the kid, right? It'd be really nice if you had some sort of ender really quick. You know, and I just think that our minds are constantly playing, at least mine is. And I think for that reason, that makes us want to be prepared because we're like, I know what I'm going to do in this situation, or at least what I plan on doing, right? Like you can never plan for everything. And there's so many crazy things that can happen and you'll be caught off guard. And a lot of people run, a lot of people freeze, a lot of people, a lot of different things. Which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with any of them. I just know that it kills us inside when that happens, right? A part of you dies inside when something like that happens. So you like to think that you would do something immediately, whatever you had to do. But the most important thing is just being prepared, right? And you can't be prepared for what's going to happen. What I mean is, like, by having, say a blade on you, right? That's the first part. Do you have a knife on you if something happened where you had to cut a seatbelt, cut somebody out of a rollover car, whatever, like so many different things. Maybe somebody got wounded, you have to cut the clothes off them and use it as a tourniquet. I don't know, just whatever. So many different fucking things. Or you know, something crazy happened, you had to hunt and you had to skin animals, whatever. Can you sharpen out in the field? Can you hunt? Can you, you know, all those little things. And obviously the God forbid if, you know, you had to get into a hand-to-hand, and regardless if you have a gun or not, you know, you probably can't get to it. And trying to get to it, the problem is like, if I'm on top of you, you going for your gun, it's not your gun, it's our gun. You know what I mean? Like with the knife, it's your knife, it's not our knife. Because when that knife comes out, my hand I'm not going to want to try to grab that thing. You know what I mean? So there is a big difference there when you're in a, in, where the fuck is that line? When you're in a clinch. I had the FL in somewhere. I wanted to, how can I do it? Give me 1 second. Here it is. So here's the new version of the FLN that we're dropping at Blade Show Texas here in a few days, but also we'll be dropping once a month. These ones have, so this is the original one of the original ones. It came in a karambit or the small handle, but it was so thick, right? Just thick as shit. The new ones, deep hollow end. This is a prototype, so this isn't even as thin as it's gonna be. It is a laser, and it is nasty, absolutely brutal. So if I wear, and it's supposed to be carried right here in front of your belt, if I get that out, you ain't grabbing my damn hand. You're not grabbing my arm or anything, because all I got to do is and you're in a life-threatening situation right there, like probably a life-ending, because just a little tiny on the arm is absolutely going to require a hospital if you don't die, because it's going to go it's so devastating. You don't realize how devastating this little thing is because it pulls itself in. So all you got to do is get the tip. If the tip hits, it's going to go just like this, right in, and it's going to go all the way in until it comes out. That's just the way this blade, that's why I designed it this way, was for that reason. And because of that, it's something that it doesn't require much effort to do maximum damage. Grab into a sharpened knife from you would be really stupid for the other guy. Yeah, man, no one walks away from a knife fight unscathed. Nobody. Closed in with edge weapons is such a, oh my goodness, yes, absolutely. It's some of the nastiest and some of the scariest. I've heard like 10 people that were asked, would you rather be shot or stabbed? Almost everybody's like, shot. You know, like it's kind of weird, you know, that slow blade going in versus just it rapidly happening. I'm not saying you know, one's not, or one is more devastating than the other. Just saying, like, the thought in your mind, yeah, it's brutal, man. You're gonna get cut. That for sure. You're gonna get cut. But it's who's gonna get cut more, who's gonna be the fastest, who's gonna be whatever. I got into one time where a guy, we were already fighting, and he wound up pulling a knife out, and this was at a party, and he pulled it out, but he was drunk. He was drunk, and it was probably some gas station knife. Back, I don't know exactly what it was, but it was some gas station knife. And he started swinging it at me, but he was so drunk. And like I said, we were already fighting. And what happened was he was drunk. We got into a fight, and I grabbed him and I slammed. My phone's about to die. I'm gonna say the rest of the story real quick. I slammed him on his head, so he was already like messed up. And he got him, pulled the knife out, and he swung it at me like this. And him swinging it like this and then back like this gave me the room. Because, you know, if you're in a fight, you're either in or you're out. Well, it allowed me to be out and then in. And I got a hold of his arm and, you know, took him to the ground and, you know, whatever. But 99.99% of the time, you're going to get cut. You're going to get cut bad. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. My phone's about to die. Work hard. Stay tough. Until next time. Peace. Come on.